My husband, being the victim of revenge porn, has destroyed our marriage. My F-29 husband, M30, has been the victim of revenge porn. Images of him were sent to our family and friends and even some of my husband's colleagues. At first, my husband told they were old images from before we met, but some of them were taken in our flat, the flat we moved into together. Afterward, he admitted the images are recent. He met a woman on an online dating app, and he said after they exchanged photos, she began extorting him. He's been paying her from our savings account behind my back. He paid her $5,500. Once he had no more to give, she went through with her threat and released the photos. It has been devastating going through the fallout from this. Not just that my husband was on a dating app, but that he gave her everything we had saved, and now we have nothing. The police say whoever extorted him isn't even in this country. He swears he never met anyone in person or cheated on me. We have been married for 2 years and together for 4. We were saving for a down payment, and now we have nothing. Nearly everyone we know now knows my husband was on a dating app exchanging photos with another woman. This has destroyed me. I'm so ashamed. My confession is that I can't stay after this. I just had to tell someone. Top comment, commenter 1. It's his shame, not yours, remember that. Commenter 2. You and your husband are idiots. Trying hard not to swear, but WTF. He did fucking cheat on you. Just because he didn't have sex with her doesn't mean he didn't cheat. He cheated, lied, and stole from you. Why in the living hell are you still calling him your husband? Reply, I apologize that how I am dealing with this situation is not how you would deal with it. I am leaving my marriage, as I said in my post. But I must be handling this wrong for you to resort to name-calling. I am doing the best I can with how horrific things have been, and I apologize that my best isn't enough for you. I wanted to post here to confess something I haven't told anyone yet. I didn't know that I'm doing it wrong. I genuinely, with no malice, hope you are having a wonderful day and good happy life. Update post. Before I give my update, I want to address some things from my previous post. I mentioned in my previous post that I couldn't stay in my marriage. I don't know why I got comments saying I need to leave him, or asking me why I'm staying after what he did, or messages calling me a doormat and other names that I won't say here. I am not staying. I am going to get a divorce. I never said anywhere that my husband didn't cheat on me. He said that he didn't meet anyone in person or cheat on me. I don't believe him, and regardless of if he met anyone or not, I consider being on dating apps to be cheating. I'm not sure why I got comments saying I'm an idiot or acting like a fool or am wrong, or messages saying the same thing. I never stated anywhere that he didn't cheat. I used the term revenge porn because it was the term used by both the police and the solicitor my husband consulted. English is not my first language, and when speaking to both the police and the solicitor, and on all the paperwork, it was called revenge porn. So it was my belief this was the English term. With English not being my mother language, and it being a time of stress, I may have used the wrong words in my post, such as revenge porn and down payment. This is my update. I have left my husband, just as I said I was going to do. I moved out of our flat on Saturday, and I have a solicitor hired. I have begun the process to get a divorce from my husband. I will not be changing my mind. My husband is upset, and he begged me not to leave him. He keeps saying he is a victim, and I am leaving him in the worst time of my life. He is having trouble in his career because the intimate photos and messages were sent to everyone on his LinkedIn. He might be a victim of the person he met on the dating app. But I am not leaving him because he is a victim. I am leaving him because he was on a dating app messaging others and exchanging intimate photos, and because he took $5,500 from our savings and left us with nothing. I consider both of those things reasons to get a divorce. Divorce in the UK is only no fault, so anything my husband did is not considered in the divorce. My solicitor told me she will try to see if I can recover some of the money that my husband took. But otherwise, his being on a dating app or anything else from his behavior is not relevant to the divorce. My solicitor says I will most likely not have to pay spousal maintenance because I have only been married for 2 years. She will try to get back the money he took. I have told my husband there's no reason for us to speak or see each other again. I moved out and won a divorce. There is nothing else to say, and I blocked him. I will not change mind about this. My thanks to all of you who were nice to me and didn't call me names or send messages. I do appreciate it. This was my update. Stories number 2. Am I the holy because I won't tell my wife what my son, her stepson, has in savings from my late wife? My wife, 40s, and I, 40s, have a blended family. I have a 16-year-old son with my late wife. My wife has a 13-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son with her ex-husband, and they share custody. We have a 4- and a 2-year-old together. When my late wife was sick, She told me she wanted a % of the compensation she was issued for her medical misdiagnosis to go to our son's savings. She also had a second savings account she wanted to add to it. This was on top of what the two of us had saved for him before her illness. I honored her wishes, and I continued saving for our son's future. This is a promise I made to my late wife that I have stood by. I also promised I would protect it and make sure it was only ever for him, nobody else. When my present wife and I started seriously dating, we talked about what saving would look like for our kids if, when we married. She knew I'd always saved, as had my late wife. We didn't discuss how much either of us had saved for our existing kids, but we agreed to an amount every month that would be saved for all three. And this was talked about again when we had children together. Recently there has been a lot of stress on my wife. Her ex has refused to discuss my stepkid's savings and if he pays anything or not. She also feels like we haven't been able to save enough every month like promised because it was just one thing after another. There are months we've missed because of things beyond our control. Life stuff, mostly like things breaking, etc. A few weeks ago my wife told me we should put all the cards on the table and discuss what all 5 kids have and decide how we proceed with making sure everyone gets what they need for the future. I told her I would happily discuss what I have saved for my oldest, but I would not be discussing the money left by his mom. She pushed back on it and said all the money should be taken into consideration. I told her we don't know what all the money is. I said our parents could be saving money for the kids' futures. Her ex could have money for my stepkids. His parents could have money for my stepkids. We can't say for certainty what everyone will have at the end, and it's only fair to discuss what she and I have and can save. She told me it sounds like I don't trust her. I responded by asking why she wants to know this so badly. By only talking about what we've saved, we're on an even footing. She told me if we knew everything we could focus on the kids who will have less a little more. That our younger two are probably going to be the worst off long term, and she would be open to combining all the money and dividing it. I told her I was not on board with that, and what my son has from his mom is not going to be shared or used for any of the other kids. We argued about it, but I refused to say. She feels like that's wrong when we're married. I told her it's not my money. Nor is it her money, or money that we can or should be accessing. It's from my late wife to our son, and that's all there is to it. My wife said she feels like I'm keeping her in the dark, and not trusting her with something important. She said it cuts her ability to fully engage in conversations we need to be able to have, and decisions we need to make as a couple. Comments. Commenter 1. My uncle took the money left to his children after my aunt's passing, which she specifically left for her children. Now none of them speak to him. All 3 kids will never speak to their father again. He's a pariah, not allowed at family functions, and not allowed to see his grandchildren. All he has is his nagging wife, no family. Her children barely speak to them as well. Hope it was worth it. Commenter 2. It's your son's money, it's from his mother. Full stop, end of story. 4 out of your 5 kids have 2 parents. Your wife sounds like she doesn't understand fairness. NTA. Commenter 3. I can't help but wonder if she's done some digging and found a bank statement or something, and feels like that money saved there should be divided among them all, including her. Stick to your guns here and keep a close eye on your wife. It sounds like she may be the type to start treating your son poorly because of this situation, and it wouldn't shock me if she started trying to guilt him into splitting the money or accessing it for her. Money does weird shit to people. Protect your son and yourself. Commenter 4. If the amount is sizable, and it sounds like it is, that money should have been put in a trust for your kid. If the money right now is just earmarked for your son, it could be considered as part of your assets in case of a divorce. Stories number 3. My 22F neighbor 70s told me about a woman 20s visiting my boyfriend 22M when I'm gone. Been together with my boyfriend for 3 years, and he moved in with me last year. I was already living here for a year or so, and developed a friendship with my lovely neighbor. She's retired and a really sweet lady. She basically knows everyone in the neighborhood and sits at home most of the day. Today she came up to me and said that she had something to tell me, but that I shouldn't get mad at her. I told her I would never get angry with her and to go ahead. She said that when I've been gone, probably a late shift, or when I'm visiting someone IDK, she has seen a woman come into my house and leave before I come back. I pressed her for more details, and she said that as far as she knows, she's seen her come by 3 times, and that she thought I should know. When she leaves, she hugs, kisses my boyfriend, and she believes she stays for at least an hour or 2. Got some generic details from her appearance, but nothing specific. Of course, all alarm bells are going off in my head. There are no signs my boyfriend is cheating, and we've talked about how we would rather end things instead. He did start working overtime more, but I have a friend at his company who talked about this too, and he's bringing in bigger paychecks, so that adds up. I don't want to jump to conclusions. How do I approach this? What do I do and how do I confront my boyfriend? I don't know anything for sure, and it could be anything at this point. I'm really freaking out right now. Relevant comments, commenter 1. 2 approaches. Hey, who's your friend that visits while I'm gone? I know about the other woman you're seeing. You have one chance to sit down right here, right now, and come clean 100%. Otherwise, you're moving out, and you're moving out now. One lie, one omission, and you're gone. If you in any way fear his reaction or plan on throwing him out anyway, I'd have a few friends on standby. Reply. This is pretty useful, thanks. I think I'm going with number 1 and work towards 2 if it doesn't check out. I'm confronting him tomorrow. Commenter 2. Give neighbor your number. Ask her to call you when she sees the visitor. What if she is seeing you going to work not realizing it's you? Reply. She would definitely recognize me and the woman has a different hair color, so I know for sure it's someone else. I don't have enough patience for this option though, it's eating me alive. Update, I almost didn't make this post because I feel so stupid, but there were so many people who wanted an update, so why not? Thanks to everyone who gave advice last time. The next morning I decided to confront my boyfriend. I wanted the truth from him. I was very upset to say the least. So I asked him who the woman was that was coming over when I was gone. He looked kind of confused, and then started chuckling. I asked him why he was laughing, and that I wasn't joking around. He's been preparing to propose to me, and one of my best friends came over to look at rings and talk about how and where he should do it. I felt really guilty for assuming that he was cheating, but even he admitted that it didn't look very good. He showed me some of the plans they had made and the texts between them, but that he is going to change things up now that I know. I kind of ruined the surprise, but oh well. I called my friend afterwards, and she couldn't believe what happened, and we shared a few laughs. He's been working overtime to get me a ring, and I don't know how I missed all the signs. She only came over twice, so I guess my neighbor is not that sharp anymore, lol. Looking back, it all makes so much sense. My friend has been low-key asking about getting engaged, what kind of ring I would like, etc. I feel really stupid and bad for assuming the worst. But my boyfriend doesn't hold it against me and said he would probably have handled it the same way. I'm so happy that we're cool now. The thought of cheating was so tough on me I already called in sick Monday. For anyone wondering, I already told him I'm going to say yes. Stories number 4. The house I bought is still not technically seen as mine by some men in my life. I bought a modest cabin 6 years ago. I am in my 40s. Live in a large expensive city and rented with roommates for over 20 years. So I decided to buy a holiday-type place in the woods, so family and friends could visit and enjoy. I am not married, I pay all the bills and own it. I have a long-term boyfriend who has his own place, and I moved in with him. He is a very handy type person and can build and fix almost anything and likes to do so. When I got my place, I put a sign out front that says, "Welcome to One Art Pleases." My partner likes the sign and has been super helpful to me with repairs and renovations. And I do whatever I can to help him, and he shows me how to do stuff. I have a biological family I did not grow up with, but we are in good contact as adults. They're all just very traditional. They refer to my place as ours. Complained my boyfriend's name isn't on the sign, and when I explained that it's mine many times over said, well, he does so much work, it's also his really. Even though I said I pay for it all. Then my boyfriend had his brothers up and some friends, and they would plan what to do to my place and confer with only him. These aren't nefarious guys. I just think they aren't used to involving women in conversations around home renovations. But I had to have this talk again, but with my partner this time. He got it, but others haven't. I also had to have the exterior painter come up, a nice professional guy in his 20s, who did a great job to do some work on the outside of the place higher up where we couldn't get to, who kept asking me if I wanted my husband to look over our contract and to explain the work needed to be done. Like, I called you, my name is out front. And at the yearly neighborhood meeting to discuss road fees, maintenance, etc. I show up as the only woman by herself, and everyone asks me where he is. He's fishing. He doesn't care about road fees. I get it in the sense maybe this is unusual, But it's very grating that no matter how much work I do or how I scripted and saved for years, and that my name is on the deed, everyone believes that it's actually not mine. Comments, commenter 1. A friend of mine is in a similar situation. She bought a flat in the city with big sacrifices, and after very long savings, she and her boyfriend moved in. After some years they broke up. Boyfriend moves out. He was very successful in convincing our friends group. They were very civil and made arrangements about the flat question. Like, dude, the only question was when you'd pack your stuff. Commenter 2. In the early 90s, my mom was renovating the house 'cause dad worked full-time. Tried to call a company to get an awning installed and wouldn't continue the convo without speaking to her husband. She told them to go fuck themselves and hung up. Commenter 3. The home industry is particularly misogynistic. Nearly all plumbers, electricians, contractors, roofers, etc. are like this. We decide who gets the job based on whether I feel respected by them as a decision-maker, etc. Sometimes it's really subtle. Like, I'll contact the tradesperson but they'll reach out to my husband for further communication. Or they'll look at him when explaining things instead of me. I'm sure I have other examples, but I've only experienced the blatant should we come back when your husband is here situation once, and you better believe I dragged them to hell online. Commenter 4. The guy I spoke to was very young and polite, etc., and explained he was getting started. So I just told him, hey, this is my place. Unless I say something different, you can just speak with me. It's different for other people. Just follow their lead. And he said no problem, and that was that. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt in that case. Stories number 5. Am I the a-hole for reminding my mom that my son is a child? My son was sick yesterday and my mom offered to babysit for me since I couldn't miss work. For context, I, 30F, am a single mom. Because my husband passed away in an accident last year. We had 2 kids together, ages 12 and 8. And my 8-year has severe ADHD and autism. Being a newly single mom, money has been really tight, and I do get state assistance, but not a lot, and my husband didn't have life insurance, so there was no money left to us from him. My mom and sister help me with babysitting if the kids are sick or if there is no school 'cause I can't afford a sitter. The issues came when I told her I didn't have food to spare right now 'cause I haven't been able to go shopping yet, and to please bring her own food or be prepped to have to buy herself food. 'Cause the food I have in the house is strictly for the kids till I can get to the store this weekend. We were all super sick last weekend, and I don't live in a town with a grocery store, and the closest one is a 30-minute drive. She said it would be easier to take my son to her house then, which I was okay with. But 8-year hates going to her house. When she comes to get him, he has a meltdown, because he doesn't want to go to her house. I ask if she can just stay, and I can find a way to get more food before the weekend. She said no, and insisted he had to come with her, and that made it worse. Now my mom has not great patience, but her and my sister are the only sitters I have right now, 'cause they don't charge me much, just the gas to get here. Well, she lost it and started yelling at me and him that she didn't have time for this, and she had plans that day she canceled just to watch him. She didn't mention this to me when I asked. She also said, I quote, I wish we could trade lives and I could lay around and throw tantrums all day, and you can go to work and just have everyone use you and take your money all the time. How much it must suck to be you and do whatever you want, while I have to do nothing but take care of other people. I never borrow money from my mother, but my sister and grandma live with her, and they don't work. So I know she is under a lot of stress, and she takes it out on me a lot, calling me burden, letting me know how much my tragic loss has affected her negatively, calling me other names or yelling at me for things my sister or grandma do. I didn't yell or argue. I simply covered his ears and looked at her and went, Mom, he is 8. She lost it and screamed, F you then! Miss work and lose money, I don't care. I am leaving. And then she left. Now she says she will not babysit for me again, so I can know true struggle, which if she follows through means I have to miss a bunch of work, or find a sitter I can trust that won't break my bank. So I am wondering, should I have cut her a break, knowing she is under so much pressure, and I understand she is frustrated and needs to get it off her chest, but I feel like verbal punching bag, and I don't want my kids to have to deal with that as well. Am I the a-hole? Comments commenter 1 NTA. But just a heads up, if you're in the US, your children should be eligible for survivor benefits from Social Security. Your 8-year-old may also qualify for services like respite care. and possibly SSI benefits that would help cover the cost of an appropriate babysitter. Commenter 2 NTA. From what you have said, I can understand why your 8-year-old doesn't like going to her house. As another commenter stated, she's allowed to have her feelings but taking it out on you and your children. That's not healthy. For anyone, think about it. She won't help a struggling widow with a special needs child because you don't have food to spare in your house right now. So you can know what it means to struggle. If you can't or are unwilling to help, say so, but don't use that teachable moment as an excuse. It's absolutely cruel, and I would reach out to a church. They may not be able to step in and actually help, but the pastor and the elders may very well know of resources that can help you. Commenter 3 NTA. She is an adult. She's allowed to have her big feelings around other adults, but it's immature as hell and very damaging to take that out on an 8-year-old. You did the right thing in refusing to let her treat your child like that. For babysitting, do you have a church near you? They will probably try to convince you to join the church that is unavoidably part of it, but they might have access to some kind of program to get temporary daycare access for single mothers. Reply, my youngest son can't go to the daycare here because of his behavioral issues, and them not having a para or funds to hire a para. Commenter 4. If you are in the US and have an official diagnosis, contact your local Easter Seals chapter. They have many services for children with neurodiversities and their families. If you don't have an official diagnosis, talk to the school district to see if they can get one. Stories number 6. My shift leader tried to tell me I couldn't go on an early break because I couldn't walk, so I quit in the middle of my shift on our busiest day. So a bit of relevant information. Back in January, I found out I had a tumor in my tibia in my left leg, and it was pretty bad. I went for an appointment with a surgeon in April, and he told me I couldn't work at that time because of a risk of snapping the bone. So had my surgery in June and finally returned to work about 2.5 weeks ago. Even though I returned with no restrictions, I was warned I still have to be careful because it's still fresh. And if I push myself too hard, it could end badly. So this previous Sunday I was working, and that is our busiest day. I was a curbside shopper and was on carryout. About an hour and a half into my shift, my leg started hurting so bad I couldn't walk. I wanted to cry in pain. I asked my shift leader if I could go on my break 20 minutes early because I couldn't walk and needed to just rest so I didn't cause a problem with my leg. She responded with, I'm in pain to this is a team effort, and unless you have a doctor's note you can't leave break. BTW, I did have a doctor's note. So about 5 minutes later she let me on break anyway. After taking a breath, I thought I'm done with this. I've had multiple issues with her before, and nothing was ever done. So after my 15-minute break I went to a manager and said I'm done. I quit, walked to the time clock and clocked out. Few minutes later I got paged to my department and I kinda laughed. My main boss showed up to work few minutes later as I got my groceries and was checking out. He walked by, gave me a side glance and turned his head away. He looked really mad. After all the stuff I had to go through, I was done. I left in the middle of my shift on our busiest day, and I opened all this week. Good luck them, this was my petty revenge. Comments, commenter 1. I had a tumor removed from my wrist, and technically also no longer have restrictions, but a warning about pushing the wrist. On a busy day as their fastest and most tenured cashier, even injured when they other call-outs and no coverage. I accidentally really irritated my wrist and tendon, and I could feel this terrible pounding ache. I told them I needed to go home, and there was a little deer caught in headlights from the manager at first, but they said yes, and never made a big deal about it again. Even though I really left them at a disadvantage, the manager must have run the register for the rest of that closing shift. We aren't even friends or talk socially anyways. You should have been treated with more respect as a member of their team. I hope you find something much better. Commenter 2. You quit and then bought groceries for yourself before leaving? Lamau, that's so funny. Reply. I was limping the whole time, but I kinda needed meds, so didn't take long. When the shift leader and manager passed me walking out, they looked beyond mad. I kinda laughed. Commenter 3. Serves them right. Hope you have a speedy recovery. Continue to put yourself first and take care of yourself. Stories number 7. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepkids that I no longer view them as my kids? I'm 36F and my husband is 42 Mellers and has 2 daughters who are 16 and 13. My husband and I have been together for 8 years. For some context, the girls have a mom who's just not active in their life. She comes around once a year or every other year and stays for 2 to 3 months and then leaves. The problem is, when she comes in town the girls change. For example, after me and their dad got married, they started calling me mom, as they felt I was their mom. But when their mom came back, they would stop and call her mom and push me to the side. I understood why they did that. Then, as they were young and confused and was trying to please her, we put them in therapy and their therapist had them apologize and they tried to explain it. The next 2 times it happened, she told me to try and have a talk with them. Their mom decided not to come for the next 2 years, and it was a really peaceful 2 years. The kids were good, enjoying school, their new brother, and were just happy. This year their mom decided to come. She came in August and stayed until about a week ago. This time when she came, the girls changed completely. It started with not calling me mom, to saying disrespectful things to me and their dad, to them telling their brother they didn't like him, and that he wasn't their real brother, and some other stuff. But the main thing they said that really hurt was I wasn't their mom, and that I would never be, and that I'm a bad stepmom, and their mom is their only mom. So last week when their mom left, they slowly tried to crawl back and tried to start calling me mom again, and I told them I didn't want them to call me that anymore. They looked shocked when I said that and asked why. I told them that they told me multiple times that I'm not their mom, and that I'm a bad stepmom, and that their mom is only their mom. So I said I no longer view you as my kids. They looked hurt and went to tell their dad what was said, and he said it's between us. Their therapist thinks I was harsh, but I don't, as they are old enough to realize what's wrong to say and what's right. So am I the whole? Note. I also want to put I don't blame the younger one as much as I blame the older one, as she should know better, and I understand things with parents are hard, but I was younger than her when I cut my father off, and he was similar to how their mom is. The rose-colored glasses should be faded or fading by now as she's old enough to understand. Comments. Commenter 1. It sounds like their mom is in their ear telling them stuff. Probably lies. About you and their dad. That's what it seems like is happening every time their mom shows up. They probably miss her and want her validation, so they listen to her. Commenter 2. This biggest thing that stood out to me is that your husband had nothing to say, except it's between the 3 of you. What the girls said to you and what you said to them was all very hurtful, and your husband shouldn't be turning a blind eye to this. These words are relationship altering, and he should be intervening to try and keep his family together and work it out. I understand where you're coming from and why you said what you did. I can't say for sure if I would have had the guts to say the words, but it sounds like they maybe needed to be said. Commenter 3. Your girls need to understand everyone. Even parents have feelings that can be hurt. My take is, you need to navigate this because you're stuck with these mean girls, and you are their parent. I wouldn't want them calling me mom either, because you don't treat your mom that way. But we all know they are being influenced by biomom, and you need to be the bigger person in this situation. Be the positive influence on them. But set those boundaries as to how you will accept being treated. Also, kick your husband in the rear. Commenter 4. They told you repeatedly that you're not their mom. You're just finally believing them. They are absolutely old enough to understand that relationships aren't a switch you can flip on and off whenever their biomom decides to show up. Your husband is a bit of an here for not backing you up. NTA Stories number 8. I 36F removed a friend 37F from Facebook without saying anything because she can be very mean and aggressive, and a confrontation seemed unavoidable. After sending me several messages I didn't reply to. She's now bothering my family. What can I say to her? About a month ago, I realized that every time I saw a post from her, it made me upset. I realized we don't even live in the same state, and I don't want to let her have control over my emotions any longer. Backstory: we worked together about 10 years ago. For 2 years, when we met, she was very negative and controlling, constantly telling me how to make decisions in my life. Things like not getting a dog because I wouldn't care for it. Well, because my papa will be 7 this Halloween. At the same time, she seemed to idolize me and said I was her best friend almost immediately. After only knowing her for 2 weeks, she became upset and started crying because I didn't invite her to a girls' night from a group of girls that I have known from high school. She said she didn't have a lot of friends, and she thought I was a really awesome person. She begged me to invite her on anything I did, and would bring up any instance of me doing something without inviting her, and make me feel guilty about it. Okay, I thought, everybody struggles sometimes, maybe she's just looking for some friends. About 3 months after I met her, she started dating a guy from work. Cool, I thought. Perhaps it's the pickup she needs to feel better. Raise her self-esteem a little too. Fast forward a year and a half. My friend insisted I was a bridesmaid, 1 of 2 for her and Guy's wedding. Okay, cool. She and hubby buy a house 1.5 miles from my house I own, loudly proclaiming there were much better houses. But we got this one because we were so close now. OMG, okay, fast forward 6 months, my fiancé cheats on me and I leave him. And sell the house. My friend is furious with me, screaming and telling me that I've abandoned her and that I'm an awful friend. And she never would have bought a house there if she knew I was going to move. There's no point in her living here. And now we aren't two couples and so forth. Fast forward about a year again. I'm healthy and happy and I meet an awesome Brazilian man. We date and move farther away. She moves to another state. I decide to marry the hot Brazilian. And stupid me lets her guilt trip me into letting her be a bridesmaid. My soon-to-be husband invites his huge family. About 50 people travel just from his side alone. She insists to her husband on coming to my wedding alone, even though it's clear that I'm also friends with him. She misses her first flight, causing someone to have to leave the rehearsal dinner to pick her up. About 45 minutes away, instead of earlier that morning, she gets so drunk at the rehearsal dinner that a group of us carried her back up to her hotel room afterwards. At the reception, she continues sloppy drinking and ends up in bed with a married groomsman from Brazil. After she's missing for about an hour, other guests find her and alert me, causing the whole wedding to come crashing to a stop, while more than 100 people ask each other, "But isn't she married?" Especially frustrating after earlier in the night she insisted we let her dance alone during the anniversary dance, because she wouldn't let her husband attend. She's scowling and making angry faces in every wedding picture, even during her bridesmaid speech that she insisted on giving. Fast forward a year, and my husband and I are happily married. She left her American husband and is trying to immigrate to Brazil where the dude is. She constantly complains about how things are not going well, or she is somehow wronged in any particular situation. Nothing is her fault. She blamed her ex-husband for their divorce, and never told him that she cheated on him at my wedding. So yeah, if she's got no idea why I removed her, then she's completely oblivious. Is it even worth responding? I feel like if you don't have anything nice to say, why light the pot on fire, you know? TLDR, friend is oblivious that she's not a good person. Should I bother responding to tell her why I removed her? Relevant comments, commenter 1. Where's the part where she's bothering your family? Reply, she basically started texting my sister and brother, and then my mom because she's worried. Commenter 2. Hasn't your mom been dead for 12 years? Reply, stepmom, to get technical. Dad's been remarried for almost 11 years now. Commenter 3. I would have unfriended her for causing a scene at my wedding like that. It's unforgivable. How can anyone argue against that? Commenter 4. I would have avoided her in the second paragraph where she was very negative and controlling. OP sounds like a doormat. Reply. After 25 years with a narcissistic controlling mother, 12 years after her death, I am realizing now that you are correct. Commenter 5. She is a narcissist. You won't ever get through to her, so don't even waste your energy. Reply. Unfortunately, I feel like that's how I let it go on. She filled the narcissist hole in my life after my mom died about 12 years ago. Very interesting, I never considered this. Thank you. Commenter 6, here's the deal. If you had set boundaries sooner, I'd say ignore her. But you've had zero backbone in this relationship. You willingly participated in the blossoming of the friendship. You let her into your life despite allegedly not wanting to. You don't just ask people to be a bridesmaid because they annoy you enough. You don't spend genuine and significant time with the person, and then act like it's all on them, and that they are just some nuisance. You have completely enabled her behavior. Given the history of your relationship with her, it seems typical now that you would do another spineless thing. Not confront her at all and delete her out of nowhere. This lady is clearly unhealthy and probably codependent. But you have not helped the situation. You are no better. Please respond to her and be very clear about why you did what you did. You are 100% correct to detach from her, but ghosting is cruel. And in this situation, unjustified update, I-36F removed a friend, 37F from Facebook without saying anything. Then she bothered my family. I said she was crazy. Here's what happened next. So first, thank you for every comment and suggestion. Even though I was very confused as to what to do for the first few days after my post, I knew I needed to say something. About 2 weeks after I posted here, she sent a message to my sister saying that I'm a lot of trouble, and that after my last relationship ended, I forgot what was important to her. She told my sister I was jealous because her Brazilian man is hotter than mine. What? My husband? 3 weeks after my post on Reddit, she sent me a direct message saying she's supported me through a lot, and I wouldn't have made it without her, and I owe her an explanation. I decided this was the time. I'm thankful for the replies to my previous post because the words flowed much easier than I thought they would. I told her, I've realized our relationship was not healthy from the beginning. I think it's time we go our separate ways. I wish you the best." Her reply was her listing all the times she's helped me, including putting me in her wedding lol to the guy she cheated on with at my wedding, and including a different time she helped me by inviting herself last minute on a road trip that she didn't want to go on and complained the whole weekend. She was obviously upset, and she sent 10 or 12 long messages before she stopped. She also posted 7 or 8 passive-aggressive real friends are posts on Facebook. As told to me by friends, then she showed up at my dad's house that evening, very, very drunk. She was standing on the porch screaming that they tell her the truth. My stepmom ended up calling the police after about 15 minutes when it looked like she wasn't leaving. They didn't open the door. 2 officers arrived and she proceeded to yell at them. She was arrested. The officers gave my dad their info, mentioned restraining orders and left. No contact from her since then. Damn, I'm glad I don't live near her anymore. Told her I was right, she's crazy. After I sent her a message, she lost it and showed up drunk to my dad's house looking for the truth, then got arrested. Final comments. Commenter 1. She couldn't handle the truth. Reply. Ha ha ha, OMG, I hadn't thought about that movie. What an idiot. Commenter 2. Is there any chance that she was in love with you? I just mention it because this all seems like the responses of someone with hidden love feelings that they just don't know how to deal with. And mental health issues. Reply. This is something more than one person has said to me over the years after her weird outbursts about plans I made without her. Commenter 3. You know what's funny? I had read that old post a month ago and thought she was psycho for buying a home next to yours and blaming you for selling it after your fucking engagement broke. And look, I found your update post today. Such a small Reddit world. Anyway, glad you got out of that friendship. Some girlfriends sometimes take platonic friendships to be like soulmate relationships. It's creepy, but very sad that they can't set boundaries and have healthy relations with people. Good luck to you, OP. Also, beware in the meanwhile. Some people can't get over rejection and may not drop the crazy for a while. Reply. Thank you, Reddit friend. I wasn't sure if an update was necessary, but it was because of that post that I decided to grow a pair. Plus, I can't make this shit up. It is so ridiculous. Commenter 4. That was a sad ending. Reply. I don't know. Maybe it's the wake-up call she needs to realize her actions aren't healthy. I hope, for others in her life. Commenter 5. What about her family? Do they know about her behavior? Reply. She's an only child, and her family is on the other side of the country. I doubt they know what's going on. She never really contacted them, and never invited them to her wedding. Commenter 6. Probably, but that is her own fault, clearly. As she drove them all away by being an asshole. Reply. This is the impression I get. She doesn't have long-term friends. Stories number 9. Close your curtains so I don't have a view into your home. We moved into a new build a few months ago. We just received a mailed letter from a house that is behind ours. Note that there is a wash and a road between us. I shall type it word for word. Dear neighbor, congratulations on your new home. I live across the way from you in Sunflower. Although our homes are not very close to each other, I can see directly into your home from my living room and backyard. I can clearly see you as you walk around your kitchen, and even when you get things from your refrigerator. While I am happy for new neighbors, I would prefer not to have a view into your home when I am in my living room and backyard. For your privacy, you may want to consider some blinds or curtains. I hope you enjoy your new home and neighborhood. Your neighbor Carol. So let me get this right. We have to close our curtains so you can have yours open. You've been watching us in our house like a creep? Fuck you, Carol. My curtains will be open, and I think some naked dancing in the kitchen is required. Comments. Commenter 1. Take the letter and write, "Nah fam, we good," and leave it in their mailbox. Commenter 2. Middle finger to the window every time you go to the fridge. Or wear the weirdest shit, like a bowl on the head. Sheet cape, dog leash. Reply, as a classic post suggests. Large horse head staring balefully at all hours. Commenter 3. Subject. A note from your appreciative neighbors. Dear neighbor. We're writing to you today with some absolutely wonderful news. It recently came to our attention just how dedicatedly you've been observing the goings-on within our home. Your commitment to keeping an eye on us is, frankly, astonishing. We were, of course, a little concerned at first. In today's world, one can never be too careful, so, driven by a profound sense of civic duty and neighborly concern, we took a moment to review the National Sex Offender Registry. You can imagine our overwhelming relief and sheer delight when we discovered that you are not on it. Truly, congratulations are in order. Now, while we are thrilled to know we're living next to a law-abiding citizen, we did want to address your rather persistent stargazing, or rather house-gazing. We understand that the riveting spectacle of our daily lives can be hard to resist. However, if you simply cannot help but stare directly into our home, we must insist that you respect our privacy by keeping your own curtains closed. It seems the most logical solution to help you manage this apparent fixation. Wishing you all the best. Sincerely, your ever-observed neighbors, commenter 4. Naked mannequin in the kitchen, not against the window but easily in view of Karen. I mean Carol, stories number 10, IF24 told my partner, M25 my body count. He calls me disgusting and it's wrecking us. How do I deal with him? Me, 24F him, 25M. We've been together a bit over a year, but actually know each other for about 10 years. Back in school, his ex hated me. Like villain of a high school movie level. She spread nasty rumors about me for years. Fast forward a decade, we reconnect, sparks fly, and we fall for each other. He'd been with that ex for 7 years, and in the years she had him he was off living that life, while I, in my early 20s, dated one person and had a handful of one-night stand chapters. Normal 20s stuff, figuring out who I am, experimenting, moving on. Not proud of every choice, but I'm not ashamed either. It's in the past. One night early on he asked about my past. I believe in radical honesty, so I told him my body count. 28 including him. He lost it, didn't speak to me for 3 days. Since then, the topic is like a broken record. Tiny things trigger him. He'll drop lines like, I'm disgusted by you, or I can't stop picturing it, and then get mean and dismissive. Those moments crush me. I've worked so hard on my self-esteem, and he keeps stomping on it. I'm not asking him to be neutral about my past. I get that it might bother him, but I am asking for 2 things. Don't make me feel worthless for a time in my life that I've moved on from. If it bothers you, tell me. Don't weaponize it with insults and contempt. I love him. I'm patient, calm, and have tried to talk this through. We've been having this pattern for months. I'm tired. I feel punished for something that happened before he was even back in my life. Also, side note, I honestly think some of this is his ex's influence. She used to talk badly about me for years, and I think that planted seeds. Am I being unreasonable for wanting him to stop humiliating me for a past that doesn't exist anymore? If you were in my shoes, would you stay and fight for the relationship? Or is this a deal breaker? Also, if you have experience helping a partner move past jealousy like this, how did you actually fix it? Edit, thanks for all the comments, positive and negative. Let me make this conversation more interesting by telling you guys. This man has a body count of 21. He was in a relationship for 7 years and was single after that for 2. You do the math, edit, oh wow, this blew up. And it's my first post ever. I'm truly overwhelmed by all the feedback. I appreciate everyone reassuring me. Reading the comments really shows how different people's values can be. I don't judge any of them. This post reminded me that there are still good men out there who can love a woman for who she is. Not where she's been. Cheers to you comments, commenter 1. I doubt he'll ever get over it. I think this relationship has run out of time. If it's bothering him that much, he should just end it instead of making comments over and over. Commenter 2.op, he is straight up saying, you're disgusting. How is there even an inkling of hope that this relationship will work out? You're incompatible, and he will never views you as an equal partner. Commenter 3. If it bothers him so much that he is disgusted, then he shouldn't be with you plain and simple. And if he's affecting your self-esteem with his comments, then you shouldn't be with him. Everyone has different views on this topic, and so it's okay if 2 people have incompatible views. It's not okay for one person to put the other down because of their experiences. Commenter 4. Don't have sex with someone who thinks you are disgusting for having had sex. It doesn't matter what his ex said or did. Calling you disgusting for having sex when he was fine having sex with you is the disgusting behavior. He can't stop picturing it is a crazy line. And a him problem, not a you problem. He will never stop thinking about you then less than. And you shouldn't accept that. You love him. He doesn't love you. Move on. Stories number 11. Tifu. By pretending to be a student at a high school and lost a job offer because of it. This happened a few months after I graduated from high school. I had to go drop something off at the guidance office for my brother still in school. So I visited the campus, dropped off the paperwork, and left the office to leave. The bell rang, and classes started transitioning to the next class period. On my way out, I saw a cute girl I used to talk to, so I decided to walk her to class and catch up with her before I left. We got to her English class, and there was a sub. I think I wanted to impress her, or at least keep on talking to her, so I chose to sit in that class next to her. They were taking a quiz on the Crucible. The teacher was out for a week and left the materials for the sub. So I just kept my head low, sitting next to this girl, and took the quiz. When it was done, we were all chatting quietly. When the sub started taking attendance, she noticed that I did not look familiar as she had subbed there the day or two prior. She asked me my name and I froze, didn't know what to do or say, but she saw I was not on the roster. So she called the vice principal to take care of the issue. I was terrified because this did not play out the way I thought it would. Sit through the class, the bell rings, then I just leave. Anyway, I explained myself to the VP with 100% honesty as he walked me out of the building. He laughed at it and understood where I was coming from. I did not get in trouble for trespassing or anything like that. Fast forward 10 years later, and I'm applying for jobs to be an English teacher all over the state. I apply to my alma mater and they call me in for an interview. As I'm signing in, dressed to impress and ready to crush this interview, the secretary takes a long, hard look at me and asks if I was the boy who sat in on her class when I was not supposed to. Surprise, that sub is now the secretary to the principal. She rolled her eyes at me as I had been seared into her memory after that day 10 years ago. Even though I did well at the interview, I did not get a call back. I wonder why. TLDR. Dropped papers off at the main office after graduating, blended in with the students in the hallway, and sat in on a Class WA sub to see a cute girl. The sub found out and called the VP to escorted me from the building. Same sub 10 wires later is now the principal's secretary, and told the principal about this when I came back to interview for a teaching job there. Great interview, no callback or anything, go me, comments, commenter 1. I used my high school weight room the summer after I graduated, and the winter break after my first semester of college. Other than that, I stayed away from my high school ecosystem. Reply, that's the right move. Move on from it. Commenter 1 reply, I went to college 2,000 miles away and never came back. I haven't even been to my own high school homecoming game. I did attend my 10-year reunion but skipped my 20. I'm not sure what I will do for my 30 in 4 years. Commenter 2, this is a fun fuck-up story. Reply, terrifying when it happened because I never got in trouble in HS. But maybe karma really does exist after this coincidence happened. Commenter 2 reply, oh, I believe it. Like the story itself is kinda cute, mostly innocent, but did actually break some rules. At least it was just a missed job opportunity. Could have been worse. But the fact you took the quiz cracked me up. Reminds me of friends who went to a different school but would come to class with us sometimes cause they never got in trouble for it. Reply, I think I made the right choice coming clean with VP on our way out. It could have all played out very differently if I had lied or made something up to save face. Commenter 2 reply, I do too. There is a real factor of trespassing and maybe some higher charges if they believe there was any malice. But being completely truthful sounds like it was actually beneficial. Commenter 3. I have had nothing to do with my high school or the people I went to school with since I graduated. I have a group of friends from school that I still hang with regularly. But other than them, good riddance. Reply, yeah, it's for the best. At the time I thought teaching at that school would have been my made it moment. But I've since learned better. Commenter 4. What are these comments? He wanted to hit on a high school girl, so he snuck his way into her class and expected that would be cool. Do none of you have children? I understand he was young at the time, but anyone sneaking into a class when they don't belong there so they could hit on someone doesn't seem like someone I would want teaching my own kids. But maybe that's just me. Stories number 12. My wife came home upset because she was hungry and I didn't have a meal prepared. I'm 32, have been married to my wife F31 for 5 years. My wife has always made the meals, and I've always cleaned up for the most part. I have tried to cook for her before, but she just rejects it and tells me she doesn't like it. She keeps bringing up that I put cinnamon in scrambled eggs once, which I definitely do not remember doing. But she 100% believes I did that, so I am not going to argue with her over it. I work 1 8-hour shift and 2 16-hour shifts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, respectively. She works a retail job and is there 5x a week with a varying schedule. She usually cleans up dishes on the weekend because I am not home to do them, and I have gotten upset in the past, coming home Monday, to a large amount of dishes from over the weekend. So what happened tonight was I was off today and relaxing while I waited for her to get off. In my head she was going to get home, maybe cook, and we'd hit the gym. Instead she called me and asked me to start cutting up steaks for Mongolian beef. So I do that, and she walks in the door and tells me, "You're parked like an asshole. You couldn't leave me any room. I could barely get out." I ask her why she is so upset, and she said, "I am so hungry, and I have to cook a whole-ass meal after working all day." I respond, "You would had to do that anyway, and I would make it for you." But you hate my cooking and won't eat it anyway, she responds. You don't even fucking try. So I went upstairs and started making this post, hoping to just give her some space to calm down. She came up crying a little bit ago. In my head it feels like she thinks I am weapon-zing incompetence. In my own world that's not it. I know how to cook. But I'm not joking. Every time I have made something she didn't want any of it and made her own stuff. I know she wants a hot meal after work. But I am just here thinking I was being respectful by listening to her when she says she doesn't want my cooking, when now she wants me to have food prepared. I'm so confused. Am I the asshole? Update. She came upstairs and covered her head. And anytime I tried to ask her if she wanted me to get her anything to eat, she said no. And that she will have sleep for dinner. I suggested takeout and listed places I knew she liked until she stopped saying no and said, I don't know. So now I am here at a chicken place picking up her go-to meal. At this particular place, update 2, I get 5 hours of sleep both mornings that I have to get up for work. Satin sun. If that, and I feel horrible on those days. I get no time to myself on those weekend work days and can never attend any weekend social events. By the time Sunday night quitting time rolls around, I am dead. I'm responsible for all the housework during the week minus the cooking. I also deliver groceries whenever I run out of things to do at home. But this is on a, if I feel like it kind of basis. I drive for Spark. She gets to go home after work every night and sleep a full 8 to 9 hours. She doesn't really have to do many chores besides cooking. Update 3. Yes, I do all the chores except cooking. Every single one by myself, very few exceptions. Her doing her own dishes on the weekend is one. When guests are coming or we have a party is the other. We talked. She was upset specifically because I ate at 5 p.m. without her. She wanted me to think of her and bring her something and eat with her, even if it was some takeout or snacks. Comments. Commenter 1. What if you had a snack ready for her when she got home? Something like an appetizer. Veggies and hummus, chips and dip, cut cheese and grapes. She's gonna be tired and hangry. That's a given. This way she can change. Get off her feet and have a little nibble while she regroups and then start dinner. It might be helpful if you can do some prep work before she arrives. Chop. Open cans. Grate cheese. Preheat the oven, whatever. Commenter 2. I don't know what judgment to make. But y'all need better communication. Not defensively, but tell her that you don't want to make food if she won't eat or complain about it. That's understandable. She should be appreciative. And you should be at least equally appreciative when she cooks. But you also need to sincerely be willing to do some of the cooking, if she wants you to, particularly when she is working and you are home. This also means being willing to improve your cooking. Let her teach you, if she can do it nicely. And you both need to stop being so mean to each other. Commenter 3. NTA based on the above. But I have a feeling this is about more than just dinner. Gently ask if she's okay in general. Maybe something happened that she hasn't communicated. Commenter 4. NAH. I won't discount the intensity of working 40 hours in 3 days. But you then get 4 days off? She's working 5 days a week in retail? If you've never worked retail, you can't imagine the physical, mental, and emotional toll it can take on a person. It sounds like she had a bad day and was burnt out. And you did everything right in the moment that you could to support her. It also sounds like you need to maybe sit down together on a day neither of you are working to talk through your meal planning, your chores schedule, and maybe scheduling one night a week where you cook together. If she doesn't like your cooking and you insist it isn't weaponized incompetence, either she's deeply insecure, reluctant to eat your food for some reason she isn't saying, or you're actually that bad that your food isn't edible. Either way, cooking needs to stop being a chore for your wife. And you need to figure out ways to batch prepare bulk meals that you can throw in the oven to have ready for her when she gets home, or recipes she's written down that you can follow very closely. Additionally, taking a cooking class together, or finding a new recipe to cook together once a week will shift the burden of cooking from feeling like a chore into more of an indulgence to enjoy together. And you'll learn from her cooking methods while practicing alongside her. She'll gain trust in your cooking abilities, you'll learn new recipes together, and eventually she may feel more comfortable sharing the cooking responsibility. Stories number 13. My father, 65M, filed for grandparents' rights after 18 months of no contact. Now I'm being forced into supervised visits my daughter 9F doesn't even want. I'm going to try to keep this to the point. Even though it's a long and emotional situation, I'm 31F. My father, 65M, filed for grandparents' rights through our county's family court after 18 months of not speaking to me or my daughter, 9F. The no contact started after a major argument in my home. He blamed me for the SA I experienced as a child. caused by his son, my half-brother, when I was 10, and his son was 25. After that conversation, I told my father he was no longer welcome in my house. A few days later, he showed up unannounced at 7 a.m. to get his tools and cornhole boards. There was no contact for 18 months. Then suddenly he filed for court-ordered visitation. We had our first mediation, no resolution. My father provided no evidence of trying to contact me, my fiancé, or my daughter's dad to see her during those 18 months. He didn't meet any legal standard for grandparents' rights. Then we had another court-ordered mediation. The judge seemed to listen only to my father, not to my experiences or my attorney's explanation of the law. She ended up ordering weekly FaceTime calls every Saturday morning and told us to either come to an agreement or proceed to trial. Since then, my daughter has repeatedly expressed that she does not want to do these calls. She gets anxious and upset every week. I've always raised her to know she can say no when she's uncomfortable, that she has autonomy and doesn't have to do things just to please others. But because of the court order, I've been forced to make her participate. Today was our trial. I had my attorney and 3 witnesses. My daughter's bio-dad, my fiancé, and my aunt. My father had only himself and my sister 45F, and no attorney. Once again, my father brought no proof that my daughter has suffered emotional harm or distress due to his absence, which is literally required by law for him to be granted rights. The judge allowed him to make negative comments about me and my fiancé, interrupted the trial twice for unrelated emergency hearings, and only heard from my father and sister. My witnesses and I were never given the chance to testify. Then, without hearing my side, the judge scheduled a further date to continue trial. Before the hearing ended, I raised my hand and asked to speak, through tears. I explained that my daughter has been saying she doesn't want to do these calls, that she feels anxious and confused about why she has to talk to him, and sometimes says she just wants to ignore the call. I told the judge that I'm stuck between following a court order and teaching my daughter that it's okay to say no when she feels uncomfortable. Something that's extremely important to me, given everything I've been through. The judge looked at me and ordered visitation between my daughter and father at a local visitation center. My attorney questioned it and was told, I can't get the truth. But how can she get the truth when she hasn't even let me, the parent, speak? 3 times now, I've had no opportunity to tell my side or testify. It feels like my parental rights are being stripped away without due process. Now my daughter, who doesn't even want to FaceTime him, will have to go to a supervised visitation center and meet with him under the supervision of a stranger. She's uncomfortable and anxious, and my heart is absolutely broken. I don't even know what to do at this point. My attorney is trying her best, but I feel like the judge has already made up her mind. Has anyone ever gone through something like this, where a judge ignored the evidence and seemed to favor the grandparent without cause? I feel helpless, and I just want to protect my daughter. See Troxel v. Granville Snapshot Edit for context. There is a lot of trauma I would have to unpack for you to get the full picture here, which would create a novel. First, when I was essayed, I told both my parents. Neither did anything about it. During a disagreement at my house over something irrelevant, my father told me, you should have stopped it. Blame your mom. You didn't stop it when it was happening. Second, after his comments, it was enough for me. I told him he wasn't welcome back into my home. Therefore, his access to my peace was no longer his. I never told him he could not see or speak to my daughter. He did not try, did not send a card or anything you could think of. He did not try talking to me. I have been in and out of therapy since 18 years old. I have processed and worked through a lot. I am aware we cannot go back and change how my parents handled this situation, and I have worked through this on my own. What I won't tolerate is being blamed for it. As a child, in my home, he did not try to talk to me over the last 18 months. In fact, he was in a bad car accident. I reached out to check on him, and he did not try to talk to me. He did not mention the filing. A week or 2 later, I received the notice. Lastly, I am a social work student going for my master's in the spring. I am well aware of the trauma associated with cutting children off from people they want to see, especially a grandparent. That is not the case here. My daughter is completely unaware of what is happening. I don't talk to her about adult conflict. She doesn't hear us talk about things or badmouth anyone, as I have experienced that as a child and it was uncomfortable. He chose to not reach out. She is a wise 9-year-old and probably realized this. She has expressed being confused on why he is calling now. Grandparent rights are not the same as custody rights. It is very difficult to be granted. It is not the same as Parent V. Parent, I never lived with my father after 18. I have raised my daughter independently, worked, gone to school and graduated top of my BSW class. I know I am a good parent and do everything I can for the best interest of my child. I have no desire to keep her from doing things she wants to do. I do appreciate all the input thus far, as well as the support and positive vibes being sent. There is strict standards that have to be met to be granted anything. Otherwise, the parent, in good faith, has the right to say who is and is not allowed around said child. Edit: I took out information that could be identifiable if searched. Comments. Commenter 1. Affection is not legally mandated. He can't force her to give pop-pop kisses or any other physical contact and supervision. You can share that with her and keep a journal of her account after the visits. Commenter 2. Jumping on here just to recommend you keep a log of your daughter's behavior, statements, feelings, etc. before after each of these visits. Also, document in a log if there are any weeks visits don't take place, and any positive improvements in her behavior when she doesn't have to see your dad. Document, and try to keep the log as straightforward and fact-specific as possible. Also, I'd recommend speaking to her teachers if you haven't to give them a heads up what is going on, and ask them to let you know of any changes they see at school. You want to try to build a record that this contact is negatively impacting her? Reply: we have letters from her teachers stating that my daughter is thriving socially and academically. Given feedback about my fiancés and I parenting and our involvement in the community. We had this all ready for trial, which we didn't get to show. Commenter 3. Ask your lawyer and/or Google about a guardian ad litem for your daughter. Their job is to protect the best interests of the child. If meeting HWR grandfather is causing her distress, the gal should advocate for her. It also sounds like the judge may be biased towards grandparents' rights. See if your lawyer can get a new judge. Reply: she is working on filing a motion as of today. The judge made a ruling without hearing the other side's evidence or testimony. Further, my lawyer provided no evidence, which is his burden to prove. Commenter 4. All you can tell your daughter at this point is that while she has to show up, she cannot be forced to do anything else. While you should certainly not encourage rudeness or hostility, she cannot be forced to be sweet or kind or a good granddaughter. She's required to be there, nothing more. Reply: I understand that. She is going to be so confused. She has no idea what is going on as we don't involve her in adult conflict. But she is going to ask questions about going to a center, being supervised with someone she hasn't seen in 18 months and hang there. Commenter 1. Reply: answer her questions as honestly as you can. Don't tell her to be hostile or rude, but you also don't have to tell her to be nice, either. If she doesn't want to be there, she can tell everyone at the visit just that. But it's important that this doesn't come back on you. Don't coach. Stories number 14. My parents left me at boarding school and I'm starting to think I'll never forgive them. My parents pressured me into applying to a very selective boarding school while I was in HS. They threatened to send me to an all-girls Catholic school away from my friends if I didn't apply. I never thought I'd get in, so I submitted the application, thinking that getting a rejection would end their threats. This was almost 4 years ago. I got into the school about a week after submitting my application. My parents told me I had to go for 2 weeks, and if I didn't like it, I could come home. By the end of the 5th day, I called them and said I wanted to come home. They said I had to wait the full 2 weeks. I waited the full 2 weeks, thinking that they had a scheduling issue or something that prohibited me from going home sooner. The day I was supposed to be picked up, they called me and told me that I was staying until graduation. I cried every day for 2 years, up until I graduated out. Meanwhile, my family moved on, got a puppy to replace me, literally got her 2 days after I left, and proceeded to lie and tell everyone around them that I loved it there and was staying of my own choice. My friends tried to confront them on this, but my mom made it very clear I wasn't welcome home. This was a school for the profoundly gifted. I wasn't a bad kid. It's been almost 4 years since they decided to keep me there. I'm now in college, and being home is so hard because I don't think I can ever forgive them. I try, but I come back to the same thing over and over. They took my home away from me. I came back, and everything was different. 2 years had passed. My friends had moved on. My own family had moved on. I try to be nice about it. I try to understand their perspective, but I also know I was so depressed there and I hated it so much. And they knew all of this and still did it. And I don't think I'll ever understand how someone could do that to their child. I was 15, I couldn't even drive yet. I'd never been to prom, I was a kid, and so I question if I will ever forgive them, or if I am destined to be quietly angry about this for the rest of my life. Comments. Commenter 1, why would you forgive them? I'm not sure I understand. Commenter 2, don't be quietly angry. Tell your biological how angry you are and follow up by cutting them out. Graduating from college, don't tell them. Getting married, don't invite them, they get mad. Remind them how they shipped you off and forgot about you. Now you're returning the favor. Commenter 3, I assume you still need them to pay for school? Keep on doing what you're doing until you graduate. Then you can block them and never have to see them again. It sounds like they still have no love for you. You mention you are the one constantly spending time visiting them. They've never visited you, have they? They will not miss you when you ghost them. And I suspect you won't miss them either. Hugs. Commenter 4, I heard somewhere a few months ago. You don't have to forgive them, but you have to forgive yourself. For letting it happen. For your feelings. For your reactions, etc. If I recall correctly, it was Joanne Molinaro, the Korean vegan, who said that in one of her videos, the context was leaving an abusive relationship. It really helped me come to terms about abuse I had suffered. Especially after I had a man tell me that I wasn't over my ex because I hadn't forgiven him. Your emotions are valid. You have a right to be angry. Forgive yourself for applying in the first place. Forgive yourself for feeling that anger. And everything in between, they don't deserve your forgiveness. But you deserve your forgiveness. Stories number 15. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I didn't want to come home after coming back from a health resort with the 2 kids, while he didn't do anything? Hi, so I, 27F, and my husband, 33M, we are married for 7 years already. We got 2 kids, a girl 3 and boy 5. He works for 40 hours a week while I work 32 hours a week. He dresses them and brings them to childcare and makes them ready for bed and puts them to sleep. I do the household cooking, laundry. He helps me from time to time, but only if I ask. He goes with the dog in the morning, and I go in the evening. It was always like that. And I never had any issues so far. Till I went to a therapeutic center with our 2 kids for 3 full weeks. In the time I was gone, I asked him to do 3 normal chores. Cleaning the toilet, sending a packet back, and cleaning the laundry in our kids' room. He did nothing of that. I flipped and went mad. And he said he did so many things like cleaning out the garden from stones, even though they would be collected in January. So his work wasn't necessary. He told me I should appreciate that he does household stuff. And it's my own fault I went to a therapeutic center I could stay with the kids, and he could have taken care of the kids like always. He told me I suck at communicating because I'm sick of it. Telling him what to do. After a few arguments, I flipped and basically told him I'd rather didn't come back home. Because now he went on a work trip and I'm now alone with the kids and need to clean up after the 3 weeks. Now the question, am I the a-hole and what should I do after he comes back? Edit. I'm not a native-speaking American and thought that health resort is the term what we use in Germany as Mutterkind Kur. I changed that. I went to a therapeutic retreat because of overload with everything. Comments. Commenter 1, OP, are you in Germany? And was this a Mutterkind Kur? Because people are going to see the word resort and be frothing at the mouth. If it is that, you might want to expand on the concept so people can understand that it's not a resort in the sense they're thinking of. It's more like parent rehab for moms who are at the end of their tether. There's a lot of different kinds, but they're usually out in quiet, rural areas. You have individual therapy as well as group therapy, and even family therapy. They have childcare for the times you need to do adult stuff, etc. There can also be spa-like things as well to help with stress management. As an example, I had a friend who went to one of these because one of her kids had horrendous allergies as a baby, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. He didn't sleep, was covered in rashes all the time, and she had 4 other kids to take care of. This place specialized in children like her son, so they not only figured out what was going on with him, but she got help for the stress she'd been under, not sleeping, taking him back and forth to the hospital and taking care of her other kids, all in a relaxing and controlled environment with lots of professionals around. Commenter 2 NTA, I immediately thought about Mutterkind Kur when I read your post. Dear readers, especially American ones, this kind of several week-long therapy stay that includes childcare is really great to support both mothers and fathers who desperately need help. And yes, apart from a 10-euro-day copay for food, it gets covered by public health insurance, but nowadays, it's incredibly hard to get approved by a doctor, the healthcare provider. This isn't a spa for stressed-out parents. This is a stay for parents who have such severe mental or physical health problems that they are basically falling apart. OP, it says a lot about your husband that he has let it go this bad for you to need this stay. He basically had a 3-week-long child-free vacation and was too lazy to do very easy chores. I am so sorry. Commenter 3. NTA, it's ridiculous. He couldn't do basic household management while you were away, and you were stuck cleaning up after him when you got back. It's actually appalling that he didn't think to clean the toilet once in 3 weeks. He shouldn't have to be told to clean up after himself. Commenter 4. I don't think people understand that admin is a chore which includes project management of the house. In my house I do admin and cooking. He does everything else. We used to have a cleaner, but he doesn't want to pay for one anymore, so he does it. He also does the gardening and decorating. However, I write him a list and tell him which days he is doing what, and manage it so he doesn't feel overwhelmed. I know if something is a two-man job and organize my brother to help if needed. I know if something is out of his skill set and arrange a company to take over if that's what we need. It sounds controlling, but he has asked for it to be like this. If we need a room painting, then the butt he doesn't like is going to buy the paint and the choosing process. He doesn't mind the actual painting. I know not to schedule it when he's watching football or boxing. He never ever chooses what to have for his dinner or his lunch. He doesn't like having to make that decision. I even pick what he wants from the Chinese menu. He counts decision-making as admin. He thinks it's a chore. This has to be recognized though, because I also think it's a chore, so I wouldn't want to have to do all of this, then all of the household stuff as well. Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I didn't want to come home after coming from a health resort with the 2 kids, while he didn't do anything? So after a year I just wanted to share what happened and how it's now going. After he came back from his business trip, he brought me flowers and chocolate. We sat down together, and I openly addressed all the issues that had been eating away at me over the past few years. He also brought up the things that had bothered him. I also told him that if we didn't work on our relationship, separation would be my only option, and that if he didn't improve his attitude toward hygiene, I wouldn't want the children to stay with him if we separated. He was immediately very eager and wanted us to get to work on things right away. So we allowed ourselves a quiet phase for 2 months. We lived in the same house but slept in separate bedrooms. We also set up a detailed plan for each week about who would do what, and each of us got our own free time while the other took care of the kids. I have to say, it's only been going uphill since then. We haven't argued as much, and if we did, it was only about minor things. There were no big fights anymore. He really started to take care of the things that had bothered me, and now takes his own initiative around the house. I hardly have to tell him anything anymore. Of course, some things have stayed the same, and I still clean some things myself because he simply doesn't see those as a priority. But I'm glad that in the end, things turned out well. Thank you for all the kind messages from the previous thread. Many of them really made me laugh and sweetened my day. It definitely made that time a lot more bearable. Stories number 16. Am I the a-hole for being a reason my dad's family turned against him after I already decided to stop going to his house? My parents are divorced. My mom and dad shared custody of me 16F and my brother 19M since the divorce. My brother aged out of a custody plan, but I hadn't. But I still decided like 3 months ago that I was done with my dad, and I wanted to stay with my mom all the time. My mom checked with her lawyer and he said it'd be fine, so I stopped going to my dad's house so long as I don't block his number or anything until I'm 18. I guess people will be asking what it's all about, so it's a few things. For years Dad has had a R spot with me and a different R spot with my brother. Think somewhere he took us for one-to-one time. He said he would never take me to his and my brother's spot, and would never take my brother to mine and his spot. He said there are so many places in the world, and he wanted us to each have a little something just for us. That was unique and special to us. We liked it at the time, and we still had stuff the 3 of us did. When I was 12, my dad got married again. I knew his new stepdaughter from school. She's a bully, although she wasn't my bully exactly, though she didn't like me either. We met when we were 10 and she was the new girl. I had started to befriend her and she was a huge jerk to my friends and other kids at school. When I stood up to her, she turned on me for not having her back. She said I was supposed to be on her side and pick her over my other friends. We didn't like each other after that, and her list of people she bullied got longer. I was never really on that list. We just glared at each other, and she would tell me to fuck off a lot because I'd tell her to leave my friends alone. I hated when Dad became her stepdad. He knew about the issues the 2 of us had with each other, and he said we'd learn to love each other. He started spending more time with her, found their our spot, and tried to be the dad she didn't have. When he realized she had no friends at school or anywhere, he tried to get me to be her friend, and I was upset and hurt. He'd ask me to do that, knowing what she was like. His wife said she was my family now, and I should prioritize her over some childhood friends that would never last. I refused, and me and Dad fought. Me and his stepdaughter really didn't get along when I was at Dad's house. She loved to gloat that she lived with Dad all of the time, and they were getting closer than me and him could ever be. I really didn't like her. And I told Dad I felt like he betrayed me by trying to be her dad when he knows how she treats other people, and that she didn't like me for defending others against her. He told me once he married her mom he had to be there for her, and we should all try to pull together as a family. There were times when we fought where he came in, and he took her side, and he asked me to give her a break because she had no one, and I had all these friends. Then after they'd been married for like 2 years, my dad asked me to speak to my cousins and get them to give her a chance. Several of my cousins on his side go to school with us and know all about her. They ignored and excluded her at family stuff. I said no to what Dad asked, and he got really mad at me. I cried and he told me to please just show what a great girl I am. And I told him he liked her more anyway. I meant it when I said it too, because it felt like he took her side over mine every time he got involved. The rest of the time he stayed out of it. The last few years have been more of the same stuff. I cry. I hate this girl more and more. I wish her dad would come back and take her away, or I wish someone would turn around and bully her back and chase her mom away with her because her mom doesn't care how she treats others. I reached the point where I wasn't willing to do anything to be nice or helpful or civil or anything that would make it look like I thought she was a good person. And then my dad started taking her to our spot. She told me so fast after they'd been there like 5 times, and all 5 times she had proof to show me. I lost my shit. I told her I hated her and called her a bully and a bitch and a monster and all kinds of stuff. My dad and his wife heard it all go down, and my dad tried to make me stop. But I said she should do everything she has told other kids in school to do, and I'll celebrate then, because she's the one who deserves it. Then I told my dad he wasn't my dad anymore, and at least he had another daughter. He told me I needed to calm down and not lash out like that. I said he ruined our spot. He was a liar. He betrayed me for her. And I said that was where I could never forgive him, because I hated her. I wished she didn't exist, and would get the fuck out of my life. Dad said taking her there wasn't meant to hurt me, and he was sorry, and he'd stop. And he was still my dad, and he loved all 3 of us the same. I said I didn't want a dad who could love her. I told him my feelings didn't matter to him, only hers did, and he didn't take her to his and my brother's spot, just mine. Even though he knew how much I hated her and how much she hated me, and then I stopped going. My dad tried to change that, but I really am 100% done with him. But then his side of my extended family asked some questions about what happened, and I told them. And with my cousins who had seen and knew so much about what Dad's stepdaughter was like, they took my side. They turned against Dad and told him and his wife that her daughter wasn't getting money for college or anything from my grandparents, and my grandparents saved some money for all of us for college or like future stuff. They said she was not family and stuff, and called her names and told Dad he should be ashamed of himself for picking someone over either of his real kids. My dad called and cried about it in a voice message because I didn't answer, and his wife called 3 times on his phone and left 3 voice messages where she basically yelled and called me names for turning the family against Dad them when I already chose my mom's house. She said my dad was heartbroken and none of this was on him. It was all me. My mom sent those onto her lawyer in case we need to go back to court. But the whole thing is quiet RN and mostly settled again. I just think about it sometimes, and I feel so glad the rest of my family chose me when he didn't, but am I the Ahola? Commenter 1 NTA. There's a good reason why that girl has no friends. Commenter 2. NTA, your dad betrayed your trust and took her to y'all's spot that was meant for the 2 of you. It'll be hard, but you'll have to gut it out till you're 18 and then go NC. I'm sorry you have such a shitty father who prioritizes a bully over his daughter. But karma is catching up to him real quick. Reply, it's so hard to keep him unblocked right now. Muting him helps some, but once I can be NC, I think everything will be so much easier, and I won't have to stress about hearing him cry, or his wife yell down the phone at me again. Commenter 3, nope, your dad betrayed you in the worst way, and you were only honestly telling all your family what he did. You did nothing wrong. I hope your mom can get you into therapy so you can navigate this hurtful period in your life. He made his bed, let him lay in it. His wife shouldn't even be allowed to contact you. Your mom should inform the lawyer the judge could possibly allow you to go completely NC. Did he think his own family were not going to ask why 2 of his biological children don't want anything to do with him? He's a failure and an idiot. Reply, my mom has me in therapy already. I have a therapy journal and everything. I never took it to Dad's house for obvious reasons. But it's helped even more now that I live with Mom. My mom's lawyer knows about it, but there's nothing illegal about my dad's wife being able to contact me since legally she's my step-parent. Commenter 4 NTA. It's hard enough with blended families, but when you allow a stepchild to push your biological children out of the picture just so you can keep peace with the new wife, that shows a level of selfishness and cowardice that's extreme. I bet your father expects to still be front and center at all your life achievements. When you are 18, I'd let him know that ship has sailed. Dad doesn't need to be at graduations, walking you down the aisle at your wedding or birthdays, if he can't even stand up for you in his own home. The sad part is, even if he wakes up and changes, it doesn't change the fact he was willing to sacrifice his relationship with you and your brother for years, for his own benefit. Stories. Number 17, I the Ahole, for asking my wife to choose our family over hers. Upi shared his thoughts following a previous situation where he forced his way into a family zoo trip, which many criticized him for what took place. This time, he has attempted an opposite approach, stepping back from a planned family weekend at his in-laws' lake camp due to ongoing marital issues, strained relationship with his wife's family, and main concerns about emotional boundaries. OOP and his wife are in marriage counseling after a 6-month separation, and the therapist emphasized the importance of spending more time together. When his wife began packing for the lake trip without him, he suggested instead staying home and spending the holiday weekend together as a family in their neighborhood. His wife rejected the idea, stating she wanted to be with her family, which he interpreted as her choosing her extended family over their immediate one. He tried to express his feelings calmly, but his wife saw his responses as an ultimatum. She accused him of emotional pressure, locked herself in the bedroom, and he was left unsure of whether she and the kids would leave without him in the morning. Now, he's questioning whether he was the AH for how he handled this. Update 1 OOP is back with an update following a tense conflict with his wife, Carrie, about whether she was prioritizing her extended family over their immediate one. After having a difficult conversation and therapy session, Carrie apologized for lashing out and acknowledged the validity of his concerns. They reached a compromise. She and the kids would visit her family at the lake for part of the weekend, then return to spend the rest with him. The compromise went smoothly, and they enjoyed a positive family day. However, tension resurfaced when Carrie brought up resuming her plan to have weekly girls' nights with her mother and sister, of which both of them dislike OOP and his marriage. Despite his concerns about potential negative influence, Carrie revealed that her sister was going through a crisis. Her husband had left her after discovering she cheated. Carrie insisted her sister needed her support, and she already arranged her work schedule accordingly. Though uneasy, OP agreed, trying to trust that this compromise was a sign of progress, even as he is still anxious about the people his wife was spending time with, and what it could mean for their fragile relationship. Update 2 OP shared a traumatic incident that involves his younger son, where he fell down the stairs at home. Despite following the strict safety rules, including holding the railing and taking extra precautions, the son lost his footing and fell down several stairs, breaking his arm and potentially suffering head trauma. The emergency services were called, and his wife, who was away at a work event, arrived at the hospital shortly after. While both his in-laws and parents kept things civil and focused on supporting the child, OOP couldn't shake off his overwhelming guilt, feeling responsible for not being quicker in preventing his son's fall. Despite reassurances from his wife, the doctors, and others that no one blamed him for the fall incident, he was struggling emotionally. The family is expected to stay at the hospital for a while, but OP found solace in taking a mental break. He shared that his son is in good spirits and excited about having people sign his cast, providing a sense of relief after an intense and worrying few days. Update 3. Since the last update regarding his son's accident, OOP shares that a CPS report was made against them by a family member, not the hospital, accusing them of neglect related to their son's fall. OOP and his wife are unsure who made the report and plan to address it carefully with their therapist. Likely to be someone who doesn't like OOP very much because of what took place few weeks prior to his son's accident. OOP is also consulting lawyers to cover his bases with everything going on. Meanwhile, OOP and his wife undergoing intensive therapy focused on confronting their martial issues, long-avoided personal issues like low self-worth, difficulty being honest about their feelings, and a compulsive need to defend themselves. They appreciate the support from the community. but they aren't ready for the private conversations due to trust concerns. OOP promises to update if there are new developments about the CPS report, family tensions, or progress in counseling. Update 4. This got taken down in AMI the A holy A, but might go back up in their update sub, so I'm posting it again on my profile. If anyone is looking, I've had an update written 3 times, but deleted them all. So much has gone on in the last couple of weeks that I've been processing through writing, but it was never concrete enough to post. It's been suggested that I'm too vague and leave important stuff out, so I wanted to make sure I was more focused and less working stuff out on the page. And then this last weekend happened, and I found myself completely lost. To answer some questions I've received, individual and marriage counseling are ongoing. They've both been hard, filled with as many steps back as forward, and IC in particular has been painfully enlightening my wife and her family. There have been fewer girls' nights, and my wife hasn't spent a lot of time with her mother or her sister. I did speak with Bill after he reached out. That's a shit show of its own, and I'm trying to stay out of it, but Asil's cheating has become something of a dividing line in my wife's family. So there's been drama there. I've been replying to comments here and there as practice at not giving in to the need to defend myself. And I even read all the comments on the Boru of my posts, some of them out loud with my therapist, as a way of trying to come to terms with the idea that I don't have to care about what everyone thinks of me. But none of that seems important in light of the bigger issue, the CPS situation. I've known since the in-home visit what the report actually said in our state. They have to tell you that, but not who made it. The report alleged that my son's fall was not the result of a seizure, or that, if it was, the seizures themselves were brought on by neglect or abuse on my part, and that my son was in danger of something worse happening. The medical evidence says that's all bullshit, but the report was still made, and CPS had to follow up. I know most commenters have thought it was my MIL or Asil who made the report, and so did my wife. But early last week she drove to her mother's house and confronted them both about it. SEL is temporarily living with my in-laws. They flat out denied it, claiming that they both believed the seizure was the cause and that they would never jump right to CPS for fear that it might backfire on my wife. Carrie wasn't 100% sold, but their explanation made enough sense to possibly be true. About the same time, my therapist guided me into talking about the family dynamics in my house when I was growing up, which ended up with me making a breakthrough of sorts and accepting that my parents are emotionally immature. That's a whole psychological thing that I'm reading an entire book on. Shout out to the Redditors who suggested it, and it's been terrifyingly illuminating. My therapist has encouraged me to journal about it and talk to my inner child, which I haven't quite figured out yet, and also not to try and talk to my parents about it for now. I probably should have listened to her on that last point. But after Carrie's family's denial, I had to talk to my parents one way or another. I didn't bring up the emotionally immature thing, or the possibility that they had been emotionally neglectful of me as a child. I thought about asking the question I've seen in so many comments. Why do they hate me? But I was smart enough for once to know that wouldn't lead anywhere good. But I didn't want to give them a chance to gaslight me or make excuses, so I stole an idea from some of the cheating spouses' posts I've read and bluffed my ass off. I told them I knew they'd been the ones to report me, and yeah, they were. My mom, specifically. She didn't deny it or try to downplay it. She said that I hadn't left her any choice, as seizures don't just happen. A line that echoed from my childhood and my behavior at the zoo had shown I still had anger issues, and since I was trying to appear like I wanted to reconcile, I couldn't take my anger out on Carrie, which meant I needed a new outlet/target. Her logic was that it couldn't have been a seizure, and it couldn't have been an accident, and I was the only adult there who could have caused it, and she said that since I've already proven myself to be a liar, she had no reason to trust that my story was true. What had I lied about? You cheated on your pregnant wife for months. That's lying in words and in actions. So, my MIL didn't make the report, but she did reach out to my mother years ago after Carrie told her that she believed I was cheating on her with Ellie editor's note. OP's best friend mentioned in a different post. But then, somehow, Mail forgot to follow up and mention the very pertinent detail that I never cheated. And so my mom sat with that knowledge for 5 fucking years, and never said a word until she saw her chance to punish me for it in the name of protecting her grandson. That all came out on Saturday. I haven't spoken to my mom since then, Ignored my father's half a dozen texts and 3 emails, and said about 6 words to Carrie. I've had my regularly scheduled counseling session, and we have MC coming up, and I'm sure this will be the main topic. I have no idea where to go from here, or how to even begin to wrap my head around this. I thought writing it all out might make it feel less surreal, but yeah, no, that's very much not the case. One good thing that's come out of all this? I finally made an independent choice and quit my 3rd job. I told Carrie right before I went to see my parents, and she hasn't seemed to have any issue with it. But since I've been avoiding her as best I can, I might not know even if she did. I miss the time when this was just about losing a job. Relevant comments, commenter 1. I maintained from your first post until now that you and your wife need to have an entire month where you have no contact with her family or yours. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your cousins, nobody. Take a month to focus on the 2 of you, and see what you 2 want together. A month will not kill your families, particularly when your mother and her mother are trying to break the 2 of you up. Reply, personally, I'd like a month of no contact with anyone except my wife and kids, period. Does anyone know of an abandoned cabin or an island with no civilization that I could rent for a month? I joke when I'm stressed badly, but I do. Commenter 2, OP. It is officially time to go fully no contact with your family, and to really evaluate where your marriage, your life, and your happiness are going. Because whatever it is you are trying to fix here is no longer sustainable. You need to be your first priority now. Reply, logically I know you're right, but the thought of prioritizing myself is like speaking a foreign language to me. Commenter 3, OP. I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm glad you're in counseling. I think it's so helpful because oftentimes toxic family members make you feel like you're crazy, and it's helpful to get an outside perspective. Your family is toxic. Your in-laws are toxic. They will never see you or give you the love you deserve. As cliché as it sounds, love yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup, and the people who should be pouring love into you just keep kicking your cup over. You're a good person who deserves love. They don't deserve you. Reply, you're a good person who deserves love. You have no idea how hard that hit me. But what hit harder is that I don't think, no. I know that I haven't heard that from anyone who actually knows me. Sometimes strangers on the internet really are kind. Thank you. What's the title of the book? Reply, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Commenter 5, friend. Now you have a golden opportunity to regain stability for your family. Now you can get rid of your abusive parents and even stop your wife from telling her parents things or even listening to them. You should focus on strengthening your relationship with your partner and showing him that all the problems were caused by the narcissistic parents and in-laws that you both have. Stories number 18. My boyfriend is in a mental institution after I called the cops. I 17F have been with my boyfriend 18M for about a year. Throughout our relationship, he's often mentioned suicide, at least once a month. Sometimes he's kind. But other times he has mental breakdowns where he blames everything on me and says I'm the cause of his problems. When we argue, I usually apologize just to calm things down. But he often keeps attacking my character. This cycle has been draining. And recently I told him I wanted to break up. A big part of our relationship is that during arguments, he frequently threatens to end his life if things don't go his way. Because of this, I've found myself constantly apologizing and convincing him to stay calm, even when I don't feel like I've done anything wrong. It's been emotionally exhausting and has felt manipulative at times, but I've been scared that if I didn't handle things just right, he might actually hurt himself. I've wanted to break up for a while now, but I've been afraid to do it, because every time things get serious or tense, he brings up ending his life. I was worried that if I left, he would actually follow through with it. That fear has kept me in the relationship longer than I wanted. Today, after a few days of arguing and me being more distant in messages were long distance, he said he was going to his father's house to get a gun and shoot himself. He told me it was either he gets arrested or he ends his life, and he kept saying I was ruining his life. At that point, I called the police. They later informed me that he agreed to go and is now in a mental institution. Now I don't know how to feel. He hasn't contacted me since, and I'm left wondering if I made the right choice. I didn't want him to hurt himself, but I also worry that calling the cops might have made things worse. Will the institution actually help him? And was I wrong for taking that step? I genuinely just wanted to help, but I'm struggling with guilt and confusion right now. Edit. Thank you to everyone who replied. I've read all your messages, and I feel much better about the situation and validated in what I did. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. OP, you are 100% NTA here, but I'm going to dump a bit of cold water on you. If you maintain this relationship, you will be an AH, because this person is obviously unstable, and you're not only putting yourself in danger, you're endangering anyone who lives with you if this guy knows your address. I know it feels like this relationship is a huge part of your life, because it does represent a relatively large portion of the period of time in which you've had adult autonomy, but you are objectively still young and you struck out your first time at bat. It happens. You rolled snake eyes and this guy is unhinged. For your own sake and the sake of those around you, you need to sever this thing as quickly and permanently as possible. Just walk away. In the long run, you'll thank yourself. He hasn't contacted you yet? Great. You should probably change your number. Tell your family about him and tell them not to talk to him too. Create emotional distance to match your physical distance and pray it works. Reply. Thank you for your honesty and advice. I really appreciate it. I know it's scary to think about, but you're right. I need to fully sever ties for my own safety and well-being. I hopefully don't think he is the type to go that far, especially since we live 5 states away from each other. Hopefully, commenter 2. This is emotional abuse. Nothing will help him unless he wants to accept help. You can't change him, and you deserve someone who will treat you with kindness full-time, and not just when they're in the right mental space. Commenter 3, NTA, he's being abusive. Using self-harm as leverage to keep a partner is disgusting. Also sadly often used as a weapon to control a partner. You need to get far away from this boy. You did the right thing getting him sectioned, as it sounds like his behavior was escalating. They will help him. I recommend a therapist or counselor for you to talk through this, as the whole situation sounds traumatizing. But you need to dump him, regardless of his threats. If he's going to harm himself, it's not because of you. It's because he is unwell and is projecting and manipulating you. Look after yourself. Stay safe. Stay far away from him. Find someone who loves you and doesn't put so much horrible pressure on you. Reply. Thank you for advice. This really helped me feel a lot better about this situation. Commenter 4. What he's doing to you is called psychological manipulation. If he was in any way serious about ending his life, he would have done it or tried to by now. He threatens suicide to get you to do what he wants, and he continues to do it because it works. You soothe him, apologize, etc. for things you haven't even done. I get angry when I hear about women or girls staying in these types of relationships. This guy is obviously a royal jerk, pain in the ass, wimp. A real man doesn't do things like this. He handles his business and treats his woman with respect and love. If anything, you should be happy he's finally gone and maybe getting help for his numerous problems. Take this time to remove yourself from his life. Concentrate on making yourself awesome. You can find a guy who will show you how a healthy relationship looks and feels. No more being blamed for someone else's problems. No more having to apologize for nothing. No more being a pawn in whatever sick game this jerk is playing. Do not give in to him when he calls you and threatens unaliving himself unless you return. You're done with this trash and moving on to bigger and better things, right? Reply. Thank you for saying this. I really needed to hear it put that way because I've been doubting myself and feeling guilty. You're right. It's not fair that I've had to constantly apologize and carry the blame for things I didn't even do. I know now that I need to focus on myself and not let his manipulation keep controlling me. I want to move forward and find something healthy, instead of staying stuck in this cycle since it's been affecting me mentally. Additional information from OOP after reading comments. Reply. Thank you so much for all of your advice. I really appreciate it, and I'll take it to heart. I'm just really worried that I ruined everything for him, and I'm scared that I messed up, but I genuinely only wanted to help and keep him safe. Update 1. I'm using my only chance with my phone to message you. You got me tackled and handcuffed and sent into a white room with nothing in it after saying you want to break up. You somehow made everything worse because now I can't fix my windshield or work for Luke. And now I'm stuck in a mental ward with people screaming. I'm so scared. I slept on the ground and they keep doing tests on me. Why did you do this? I'm in so much pain right now. My life's getting worse. I'm just not gonna talk to anyone anymore. Well, I lost my phone time. Bye. I'm stuck in this mental institution. You also hate me. It really sucks that he's still blaming me for everything when I just wanted him to get help. I haven't replied though, and don't plan to. Also, thank you so much to everyone who replied. I read each comment and really appreciated the different perspectives. Your advice has given me a lot to think about and helped me reflect on the situation in a way I couldn't have on my own. I'm grateful for the support and honesty from all of you. Update. He got out a few days ago, and I'm currently in no contact with him anymore. I officially left him. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. You need to make the authorities aware that he's still trying to manipulate and abuse you from inside the hospital. The hospital needs to know, and you need it on file with the police. I'm sorry you're going through this. Reply. Thank you, I would, but I sadly don't know what institution he's at. Commenter 2. He's likely greatly exaggerating where he is. If they deemed him in enough distress to put him solo in a padded room, they would not give him an opportunity to use his phone. He has a bed. He's choosing to sleep on the ground. The tests are likely just his blood pressure. Reply, yes, I 100% agree. I always see this theme with him exaggerating everything, even when it comes to telling me about other things. Like for example, things that happens in movies. He would exaggerate TF out of everything, and I mean everything. It would annoy me so bad, but I didn't bring it up because I knew he was going to shift the blame onto me. But thank you for reassuring me. Commenter 3, trust me. What he texted is a fucking lie. Oh, yep. Now he's threatening to sue me. Saying that he was just testing my loyalty, I ignored him. Commenter 4. To all that call cops on people that are suicidal, do you really think having them stuck in a ward with way more severe mental issues? These people are true mystics, and they don't like the system. They know this reality is faked, false, and they don't have any voice or artistic skills developed yet to express how they feel. So they try to depend on you, and hopefully you will feel how they feel. But instead you call the system and stick them in a ward. When there it isn't good at all, these people. Especially kids are the closest to the veil. From birth to up to 5-6 at time of system jabs, they see what adults cannot. Then we're in schools that program us. Program us how they want us to be. This causes depression and substance use because we don't resonate with their programs. The ones that do cooperate with their system ends up being the controllers too. But the ones taking care of their system have absolutely no clue what they are doing, because they rely on the system, the paycheck, the money. You guys have no clue who we are and what we know. Many of you go through college and obtain letters behind your name, because you didn't know a true mystic. You labeled depression as a chemical disorder. Meanwhile, we know this system is built to keep true mystic fire in check. Besides, when they do commit suicide, or when someone else dies from something other, they will be back. There's unseen entities feeding off our depression, or despair, and the ones at the top know this. So when someone is placed in a mental hospital, not only are these entities feeding off our low vibes, but now we have to pay this huge bill. So again, did you do them a favor, or create worse? You decide now. Reply. In my case, there was really nothing else I could really do. I felt the only option was to call the police on him to ensure his safety. I have tried to talk him out of it in the past, and be there for him, but it never got better, and nothing changed. So I knew that was my only option. Commenter 5, unless he was beating you. You're the asshole. Not because he's right and you're wrong, but 99% of the time calling the cops is a dirtbag move. I doubt any of you will understand why, though. Reply. So what exactly was I supposed to do? Just sit there while he threatened to end his life. That's not something you ignore. I tried comforting him, but it wasn't working, and he doesn't even have real support around him that I can contact. Calling for help wasn't a dirtbag move. It was literally the only responsible thing to do. If someone's life might be at risk, doing nothing would have been worse. Update 2. Hey guys. I didn't expect to have to update this thread. My ex has been sending me non-stop messages blaming me for everything and threatening to sue me. BTW, we are not from the same state and I'm 17. Here's basically what he said verbatim as much as possible. He claims that I got his dad's apartment swatted and caused PTSD for both him and his dad. He admits he wasn't actually suicidal and lied about being depressed to test me, but he still blames me for losing interest in him and making his life hell. He also accuses me of ghosting him so he could have more physical bonds with other people. He keeps claiming that being sent to the mental institution is now on his record and has ruined my life, saying he's lost my Second Amendment, 90% of career options, voting rights, and even the ability to join the military. He describes being locked in a white room for 3 days with bright lights, nothing to do, green scrubs, forced sleep disruption, and hearing screaming, calling it torture. Here are some of the things he's actually said. Now I know you either want to watch me suffer eternally or want to see me dead in some way. Your family or you can get sued or deal with an investigation that is going on based on the fact you got my dad's apartment swatted. I wasn't actually suicidal. I just wanted to see if you cared about me. You caused me to lose my Second Amendment, 90% of my career options, my right to vote fairly, and even the ability to join the military. You got me sent to the mental institution which ruined my life. Even after all of that, I'm still willing to help save your life from being ruined, even though you destroyed mine. That's because I care. He also keeps trying to manipulate me emotionally, saying things like, even after all of that, I'm still willing to feed you what will happen if and when I get a lawyer, and I'm willing to help save your life from being ruined. It's because I care. Now I know you either want to watch me suffer eternally or want to see me dead in some way. He insists he's forming a lawyer and keeps threatening legal action, claiming I slandered and destroyed his life, while still trying to make me feel guilty for calling 911 to help him. I don't know what to do. I haven't replied edit, I did block. He created another account to message me. He got out of the mental hospital a few days ago. Another edit. I actually have photo evidence of him showing me a picture of a gun to his head, but it was from Feb, and to everyone judging me for my choices. Yeah, I was naive, I believe people could change, and I learned the hard way that not everyone will, by the way. Thank you to everyone who replied with thoughtful messages. I read every single one of them, and I will try to reply to them too. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me, or if you want to message me, please do. Relevant comments, commenter 1. I hope you have all his suicide threats documented either through text or VM. Talk to your folks or whoever you can count on regarding this toxic manipulative man-baby and block him ASAP. Or mute and let the messages pile up so you can use them in case he does try to bring some bogus suit and it's an empty threat. You had legitimate concern for his safety, so he's just ranting and crying like an impotent. You should have dumped that person the second he started with that BS about self-harm or suicide and blaming you. Don't ever stay hitched to a person that has that serious of mental issues or personality disorder. If you have a hint of a red flag similar to this in the future, just cut your losses and get out of it. It isn't worth it. If you can reach out to someone on his end, like a parent or someone you think isn't as useless as he is, and let them know why you contacted the police, and what he has been doing, and that he has threatened you repeatedly, and you're still a minor at this point, he'll probably just disappear or face additional real legal troubles. He is 100% at fault here and guilty, not you. Edited to add that last part. Reply, thank you. I definitely learned something from that relationship. And I shouldn't have ignored the first red flag. I was dumb, yes, but I will for sure make better decisions in the future. I will try and bring this up to my parents, though. I'm just super afraid of their reaction. Commenter 2, you're young OP. You're still learning about relationships. It's not your fault he was institutionalized. Medical professionals make that decision. Your parents need to know. They love you. They will want to protect you. Please tell them. From a mom, reply. Thank you for reassuring me. I'm still scared, but I'll find the courage to tell my parents. Can Op contact her ex's parents? Reply, unfortunately his dad and mom cray like them. Why hasn't OP blocked her ex? Reply, texted on another account. Commenter 3, have you talked to your parents about this at all? They can help you file a restraining order. Reply, I did tell my father about the mental hospital part, but haven't told him about this. I'm afraid that my dad will be mad at me or blame me. I'm scared to tell my parents this information because my dad will get mad at me for getting into stupid shit. Commenter 4, NTA, he literally FA with the suicidal manipulation and FO by someone who cares, calling the authorities to help him. His Second Amendment rights are not a problem as far as I know. Even if he was mentally ill, that doesn't mean you can't own guns. Actual doctors and therapists would have evaluated him for mental illness. If he were found not to have issues, it wouldn't affect his record. Guns are only restricted in some locations. If he were declared mentally fine, then he would have no problem getting a gun. I seriously think this joining the military is laughable. So that point doesn't matter. He might actually grow up if he were in the military, because right now, he's acting like a child. His parents need to parent him better because that 18-year-old isn't ready to be an adult. You did not swat him. Swatting is calling the police to a location knowing there is nothing going on other than you being an for calling the police on the swatting victim. He gave you reasons to call the police. That's on him. Pistols are illegal unless you are 21. People convicted of federal crimes can't have guns because they are considered a danger. Some locals have local laws about guns. The NRA constantly tries to overturn those laws. They did when my local city tried to enact laws like NYC. You did nothing wrong. People like this guy are the reason those who are suicidal are not believed. His BS about taking care of you is just that. BS? He's being manipulative, trying to make you feel guilty. So you'll allow him back in your life. He needs to grow up first. Right now, he'd be the statistic of partners who run away from a relationship when it gets hard, making you a single mother probably. Or he'd start hitting you because he's an AH. Tell him straight out, I'm done, don't contact me again. Then move on with your life. Make your socials all private if you can, and don't take on new friends. OP, thank you for your support. I agree with everything you said, and at this point, he's just grasping at straws just to shift the blame onto me. Still, after we broken up, he's so manipulative, and I honestly regret how stupid I was to not realize how shitty of a person he was. He even tried to bring up irrelevant stuff just to manipulate and blame me to make me feel like I'm dumb and a bad person. I don't know, he needs help ASAP. Stories number 19. My beef went to buy me a birthday gift at the mall and then gave the store assistant who helped him his number. Went to work yesterday, called my BF to say good morning. He was pissy cause I woke him up, didn't know he was asleep, so he hung up. His mom called me on my lunch to ask how I am, and if I spoke to my BF today. I assumed she wasn't able to get through to his phone, so I shrugged it off saying I'm good, and I only said good morning to him. Day goes by, he doesn't call or text at all. I call at 6 p.m. and he just got home from the mall and has an attitude. I ask him what's going on, and he says now that he's home I can stay on the phone and irritate him. I'm like, WTF is going on, and he hangs up. Later, his sister tells me my BF went to buy me a birthday gift at the mall, and then gave the store assistant who helped him his number. She tells me the girl didn't ask, but my BF gave it out. And then they were texting through the day. This morning said he wants to talk to me. I told him when I get home. Then he says he thought about it, and it's not that deep so it doesn't matter. Obviously not knowing I already know. I get home and it takes like over 35 minutes for me to get him to just spill whatever happened. He then says he had pure intentions cause the girl looked sad and lonely. And he said YK what I'll be your friend. I ask him how come you didn't speak to me at all, but you had time to text her since you said you were busy etc. He said well she texted me and you didn't. Brew Edek how to think or feel ATP. I feel like I'm stupid and overreacting or I'm naive and gullible. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Are you guys teenagers? I pray to the heavens? His actions sound immature. He's either losing respect for you or never had it to begin with. I'll go with the latter. You're Nor. He has every intention to cheat on you eventually, if he hasn't already. Sometimes cheaters push you away when they have done something already. You must be a lovely person to give a close connection to both his mom and sister. I love that his own sister ratted on him to look out for you. Know your worth. He shouldn't be treating you like this, but he will only do what you allow. Reply, he's 4 years younger than me, so I should have known. Commenter 2, I think he's keeping you around until he finds someone else. Don't be anyone's doormat. Reply, I don't get for what though. He could be single and just go talk to girls. What's the point of staying with me to do that? Commenter 3, because he needs you around in case these other girls don't work out. Or he gets off on it. It's classic cheater mentality. Commenter 4, Nor, how old is your BF? This sounds like something a high schooler would do. Also sounds like he had the intention of cheating. I don't buy the whole she looked sad and lonely thing. He probably wouldn't have told you, and only did because his sister already told you. I'd reevaluate your relationship. You deserve to be with someone who treats you with respect as this whole situation is extremely disrespectful. Reply, he's 21. He's calling me insecure because he knew I'd react badly and said he tried to prove a point that girls and guys can be friends. But like who gives their number to a stranger to be friends? Usually I'd get to know them first before even talking on the phone. Commenter 5, I'm literally the biggest advocate for girls and guys just being friends. I go off on here regularly at folk claiming they can't and being paranoid. And even still, that's bullshit. Nobody goes out to make a friend that's a girl just to prove a point. They just make that friend naturally. Reply, he sees no wrong in his actions. I'd probably use up all my oxygen trying to explain, and he would still remain ignorant. He said if I'm so insecure he'll call her right now and have her speak to me to prove how the interaction went. I'm NGL, I think I'm easily manipulated cause IDK what to say. ATP. Commenter 6. Even if he gave his number to a stranger, so they could be friends? Why was he so horrible to you? That's inexcusable. Is he angry because they were texting and maybe it didn't go the way he wanted it to? Pure intentions? Sad and lonely? You are naive and gullible if you believe this nonsense. And why is his family so involved in your lives? Reply, technically his sister told me thinking I already knew. She's really good to me and we're close. But Ab's mom IDK cause usually she only calls if she can't get a hold of her son update. My BF went to buy me a birthday gift at the mall and then gave the store assistant who helped him his number. For those who remember me talking about my BF saying the girl looked lonely like she needed a friend, etc. I took a break from him to process everything. He calls me last night, said he missed me, and he did some thinking. He came to the conclusion that a lot of our arguments is because we each refuse to compromise on things. I told him that's far from whatever the hell he did. Eventually he told me they called twice since the Friday it happened. The girl flirted with him, and he apparently shut her down and blocked her. This would be admirable if he didn't put himself in the position in the first place. But yeah, the conversation escalated quickly. He kept getting angry and having an attitude. He called me insecure and said my insecurities are my fault despite me not having any before him. I explained to him when people have weird vibes, or when they ask me out I simply say, I'm in a relationship, I'm not interested, and move along. He laughed at me saying when people ask me out. I did so well in trying to give myself talks and hold myself together since Friday. And he just had to call and spew more horrible things just because he's feeling angry he's in this situation. He said there's nothing he can do to help, so let's move past it, forget it, and not keep talking about it. He hung up on me and I'm blamed again. He fucked up. But it's my responsibility to heal and get better and shit. IDK what to do, but guys, please don't ever insert women in you and your partner's life. If you're unhappy, please break up and then talk to women. This isn't normal edit. Thank you to everyone that commented and gave me their insights, etc. I do appreciate it, and I've been reading everything through my workday. I haven't been able to reply to each, but I'm grateful you guys took time to comment. IDK how I'll work through this, and IDK how I'm gonna do it, but trust I am aware of what I need to do. Hopefully I can ST few and just run with courage. But thank you, relevant comments, commenter 1. How long has it been since the break started? Is it at the 1 week point? Do you want to continue the break? Reply, since last Friday, today's Wednesday. I thought my mind would be better by Friday to address it. But he kinda warped my thoughts with that call. I'd love to go for a month, but my birthday is this month, so I know everything will be a mess. Commenter 2, oh, he told you it's your fault? You have 2 choices here. You suck it up and stay with him. Because yes, it's your fault. He gave his phone number to an employee while searching for a gift for you. Be his submissive woman and watch how he twists your mind over and over. Pick up your self-esteem. And tell that piece of flesh acting like a man that it's over. He had the audacity to flirt while shopping for you. He has no respect for you or the relationship. He can go ahead and flirt all he wants because he is now single. Because how he has treated you isn't respect, love, or even like you pick yourself up. Dust off his bullshit and move on to better things. Reply. I'm trying so hard for option 2, but this guy is in my head bad. I keep going back to square one every day this week. OOP responds to a comment about stopping insulting herself and get out of the toxic relationship. Reply. It's difficult when I feel silly for putting myself in these situations. But you are right. Insulting myself doesn't help my self-worth. I'm afraid to wonder about the reasons, cause what if it's cause I'm afraid of being alone? I denied it often because I'm an only child, and I've been alone all my life, and I never felt any kind of haunting emptiness. Apart from missing my friend group, I did most of the things I needed to on my own. So, if it is that, I'm scared to admit it, but also, Edek how to know if it's that. Commenter 3. Please look up signs of emotional abuse manipulation. Do you have anxiety? A lot of anxious people have control issues. Doesn't make you a narcissist. I fear that you are taking the blame for his actions. And that's what happens when you are being manipulated. You need to get your power and self-worth back. Please research. Reply. I'm diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Unfortunately, I think it's best I go back to therapy TBH. I'm sure a professional can assist more than me, going as far as doubting the research too. Commenter 4. Yeah, therapy would be helpful. I read your last post again. How often in your relationship does your BF hang up on you? And I honestly wish I could hug you. He's just so mean. Reply. He hangs up whenever there's conflict most often, and I annoy him. Stories number 20. Odd behavior from old woman neighbor. My neighbor is strange, and she's doing strange things that I need some suggestions for. She is old, lives alone, and has a dog that she takes everywhere. She walks her dog multiple times per day, lets her dog go to the bathroom in my yard. Sometimes she picks it up, sometimes she doesn't. I don't really think too much of it, because I like to try and keep the peace. Last year she took spray paint and made circles around other dogs' poop on my lawn. Literally just circled them with paint. It irked me, but I just let it slide. Well, she just did it again sometime within the past day or so. White spray paint around some dog poop. I'd rather not confront her personally, because if I did, I'd 100% video it so she can't accuse me of harassing her. I was thinking about putting a sign on my lawn saying something like, Don't make spray paint circles around any dog shit. But I'm not sure, what would you do in this situation? Update. Thank you all for your suggestions on how to handle my neighbor who spray painted circles around dog poop on my property. I wasn't expecting so many replies, and I appreciate all of them. Bright and early, I saw her this morning, and as she was walking by, I am off this weekend and was taking down the trash and decided to just call her over. I was by myself and didn't have my phone to record the conversation for safety, but I figured I'd just do it. For those who were thinking she might have a cognitive issue, I'm pretty sure we can chalk it up as that. There was no malicious intent, and I believe she was doing that to the poop so she didn't step in it. For whatever reason, I didn't want to push the issue any further, and we chatted for a while about the weather, upcoming holidays, and made small talk. I'm gonna make it a point to go out of my way to be a bit more friendly when I see her and hope that maybe she just won't do it in the future. If I happen to see any poop by the road, I will have someone here go pick it up. I really don't know if it's from her dog or a random stray, but either way I'd like to keep my yard clean. Thank you all again for your suggestions. Update 2. So I, along with my wife, son and 2 daughters, walk her over to my elderly neighbor's house with some cookies this evening. Thought it would be cool to show our kids how to handle situations in a positive manner. We sat at the table for about 20 minutes, and we talked and learned a lot. She's 73, has literally no family in the state, and her husband passed away almost 19 years ago. She's obviously very lonely and only has her dog, who is getting up there, to care for and tend to. She walks the dog 3 to 4 times per day and brings it to the park in town a few times a week. Now the question everyone's wondering, including us, why the spray-painted circles? Well, she said it was so she and the kids didn't step in it. In her heart, she was doing a good thing. We said thank you for your concern and that we'll make sure to keep an eye out. In reality, we will just make sure if we see something, we'll scoop it. Anyway, we made a new friend, I think, and are planning on stopping by for Thanksgiving with a dish. And again at Christmas. She was actually a very nice lady who was just sad. And yes, we left our with her and told her if she needs anything to give us a call. Thank you again to all those who were following along. Stories number 21. Am I the ahole for refusing to support my wife after she took our kids to see her abusive parents before they die? My wife was verbally and physically abused by her parents as a child. It took many years of therapy to get her to a better place, and I was there with her for a big chunk of it after we met when we were 19. She opened up to me several times about what she went through at home. For her, one of the most difficult to process or understand things was the fact her parents were mostly verbally abusive, and she found it hard to consider them that bad when they weren't beating her regularly. It was something that improved, though, and she saw that regardless her parents were monsters to her. I won't detail it all here, but 14 years of remembered abuse doesn't ever really go away. She has been called all kinds of names, told all kinds of disgusting things. When we had kids, we swore we would always put them first, that their safety, health, and happiness was our biggest priority. Now I'm faced with the fact she went back on that. A few months ago, my wife was contacted by a hospice worker because her parents were placed with them and wanted to see her. She went back and forth over her choice, but decided to go, and she visited them a few times. After one of those visits, she told me they wanted to meet our kids, and she told them no. She told me it was hard to process the people she knew actually wanting to meet their grandkids because she really didn't think they would care. She swore the answer would always be no, except it wasn't. She took the kids to see them behind my back, and those monsters were disgusting to my children. Saying things nobody wants to hear, but no child in any way needs to be hearing talk like they were exposed to. They didn't even understand everything that was said to them, but they were able to be upset, disturbed by it. And to make it all worse, they said their mom wouldn't leave when it started. My wife was crying and apologizing and looking for comfort, but I refused to give it. I told her she needed to find somewhere else to stay that night because the kids did not need to be around the person who exposed them to that willingly. I spent a few days focused only on my kids, and my wife stayed away. When we did sit down to talk, she made it about her and all she had been through. She was seeking my support and comfort, and I was disgusted by her. She offered our kids up to those monsters, and even though some guilt appeared to be present, it felt like it was all me from her. I told her there was no way forward after what she did, and I told her I would be filing for divorce. I said she put our kids at risk, and even after a particularly disturbing comment from her father toward our daughter, she stayed and made them stay for almost 2 hours. We're living apart. She has seen the kids twice, but I don't trust her with them at present. I have it all documented. I have an attorney. I had to contact the police about the particularly disturbing comment from her dad, and now that's on record. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I have not offered support or really much understanding for my wife, and 2 of her friends are giving me shit for it. They say I'm some husband and some father, because the kids see me throw their mom away and make her out to be a villain instead of the victim. They told me I need to stop the nonsense and support her, help her, so the kids benefit and she can overcome a single mistake. A mistake that was planned for over a week BTW and kept from me. I don't really think I'm an AH for not supporting her. But somewhere in my mind I know she has suffered too, so I'm like maybe, possibly, I should have done better about all this for all 3 and not just the kids. It's a very tiny part. Maybe the part of me that has loved my wife for so many years. Comments, commenter, 1NTA. And her parents got what they wanted? To destroy her life one more time before they died. The gates of hell are open for them, commenter 2NTA. Your children are your first priority and your wife failed to protect from her abusive parents. Your children's safety and peace of mind overrides any trauma your wife is experiencing. Commenter 3. She took the kids to see them behind my back. Okay, this lost me. I can sort of understand why she might have felt the need to see them for whatever reason. But why subject the kids to what you describe as monsters, and do it behind your back? It sounds like she purposely sabotaged and willingly undid all the healing and progress she has made. Now, not only do you distrust her as a spouse, but more importantly, you distrust her as a parent, commenter 4. If your wife had left the visit as soon as the abuse started, it might have been forgivable. It was still a huge breach of trust, however. She subjected the children to 2 hours of abuse. Your wife is no longer the victim, she is the abuser. Anyone who defends her should be told this, and then blocked assuming they don't accept this. Stories number 22. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom to stop villainising middle school? I am a single mom to an 11-year-old girl. I chose to be a single mother by choice, using a sperm donor. My mom and I weren't always close when I was younger, but we grew closer when I became a mom myself. She ended up moving in with me and has helped me raise my daughter. In the early summer, I got a job transfer to a new state and my mom came with us. While the area we moved to is very nice, the issue is that the public schools are not great. Prior to the move, I found an all-girls private school. My mom was not thrilled with this. Both she and I were bullied as teens. And my mom always said teen girls are just the worst. She felt I was really opening up my daughter to be bullied. However, when I did more research on the school, and all girls schools in general, I found there was actually less bullying and mean girlness. The school itself also seems to focus a lot on uplifting women and focusing on building up women's accomplishments, rather than pitting them against one another. So, after my daughter and I visited the school prior to the move, I decided to enroll her. She started in September and she loves it so much. She has a lot of friends already, and says what I thought was true. There seems to be less cattiness than a regular middle school. She says she has noticed some bullying between other kids, but it's not as much as she saw when she was at her public elementary school last year. She also says it's handled in a much different way. I'm glad she's enjoying it. However, my mom continues to be a negative Nancy on the situation. She checks in with my daughter to ask how school is going, but then will start on her rant about how preteen teen girls are all so mean. They're the worst. Middle school is the worst time ever. I've talked to her before and asked her to stop. Yesterday, my daughter got into an argument with one of her friends. It wasn't anything big, just typical preteen stuff that gets kind of blown out of proportion. I'm sure I had fights similar with my friends at that age. I was comforting her and validating her emotions, as well as giving her advice. My mom came home and asked what was wrong. My daughter told her and my mom went on her tirade yet again about how middle school are the worst 3 years of any young woman's life, and you couldn't pay her to relive it. I shut her down and said my daughter had one bad day. That does not mean these 3 years will be bad. My mom kept insisting girls are the worst. I shut her down again and told her that isn't true. Even my daughter was telling her some things she's learned at school. My mom got irritated and told me that I am undermining her experience. I pointed out I had the exact same experience. But I'm not going to let it cloud my daughter. I told her later on that she needs to cut out the comments. She said, again, that I'm trying to undermine her experience and that I can't tell her how to react. Am I the a-hole for wanting her to stop villainising middle school? Comments, commenter 1NTA. Technically, I have the right to talk about my hypothetical hemorrhoids, but that doesn't mean it's helpful or appropriate to have that conversation with all people at all times. I was bullied throughout much of my school life, but I don't rant about it to others anytime the topic of school comes up. Your mum sounds like she needs some therapy to help her process her experiences, both for her sake and the sake of others. NTA for protecting your daughter from a frequent trauma tirade about how what she's likely to experience the next few years is going to be a form of hell, the worst thing ever. It's not appropriate or helpful for her to be hearing that. Especially repeatedly, commenter 2 NTA. As my therapist once said, your trauma is valid, but that validation must come from within at some point. Trauma dumping it onto others will not solve shit. I love my therapist. Anyway, your mom's experience is valid, but dumping it and reliving it endlessly is not going to help. I learned from experience that whilst it is extremely sad, some people end up having something bad that happened to them, define their entire life experience, and they are stuck in it forever. These are not people that end up bringing people up, always down. Tell your mom to cut it out and get therapy to process her experiences and feelings with people who are trained to handle it. Commenter 3 NTA. Your mother is confusing expressing her experience with getting to say whatever she wants around your daughter and her experience. I would handle this by sitting down with your mom and give her a validation boundary sandwich. Mom, middle school was indeed awful for you. It is perfectly understandable that your daughter being at that age right now is triggering those terrible memories. But it is important that you keep in mind that daughter is going through this time right now. Her experience must be her own. Consider how much worse it is for her to not only be this age, but to have so many comments about it being made. She deserves the space to only be subjected to what she's experiencing, not what either of us went through being added on top of it. That time was terrible for both of us. I don't think it would have been made any easier having to think about someone else's hard time too. Commenter 4. Honestly, even if your daughter went to a co-ed middle school, I would encourage your mom to keep her comments to herself. I was also bullied in middle school co-ed public. You could not pay me to relive those years, but when I have kids, I won't tell them that unless they specifically ask what my experience was like. My mom is similar to yours, and she always says how nasty girls are at that age. And while they can be, so can boys. A lot of my bullies as I got older were more boys who were brushed off as boys being boys. Still, I wouldn't villainize all teen boys. This is how pick-me's are created. Honestly, the whole, oh, don't be friends with girls, they're too much drama. That's a toxic line of thinking, and it takes years to crawl out of that black hole. I'd educate your mom and try to help her crawl out of it as well. You are a multi-generational household of women. Focus on raising each other up, rather than tearing other women down. NTA Stories number 23. Baristas played rock, paper, scissors to see what I should drink. I have to be out of the house today for mold remediation. Life has sucked majorly lately. I went to my favorite local coffee shop, and despite the long line, was still unsure on whether I wanted an iced latte or an iced matcha. I asked the people behind the counter what I should get. One woman said latte, one woman said matcha. I was about to agree with matcha woman, but then she said, let's rock, paper, scissors and see who wins. I was so delighted, and latte woman won scissors to paper. So I got an iced latte instead. I am very indecisive and was worried they'd be annoyed at having to choose for me, but it seemed like they had fun. This place is my favorite, and I'm thankful it's here. Stories number 24. My babysitter ignored every single instruction and nearly killed my daughter. Now I'm facing a lawsuit. Hey Reddit, longtime reader, first-time poster here because I'm absolutely losing my mind over what happened last night, and I need to vent, process, get some sanity checks from you all. I'm Jessica Monroe, a 35-year-old single mom living in a cozy apartment complex in Austin, Texas. I work as a marketing coordinator for a tech startup. Decent pay, flexible hours, but the job still demands I travel sometimes. My pride and joy is my 4-year-old daughter, Harper Monroe. She's this bubbly little firecracker with curly blonde hair, obsessed with unicorns and frozen songs. After my messy divorce from my ex, Derek Walsh, 2 years ago, he moved to Chicago with his new girlfriend, Vanessa Klein, and barely pays child support. It's just been me and Harper against the world. I don't trust just anyone with her, so I've got a super detailed babysitting routine that saved my sanity more times than I can count. Let me paint the picture of how anal I am about this. Because yeah, I know I sound like a helicopter mom, but hear me out. Every time I hire a sitter, I leave a 5-page printed guide. It's laminated, color-coded, with photos, page 1. Emergency contacts, me, 512-555-0192. Derek, even though he's useless. My best friend and neighbor, Lila Baxter, she's a pediatric nurse. Lives 2 doors down. Harper's pediatrician, Dr. Nathan Cole. And poison control, page 2. Harper's schedule. Bedtime at 7:30 sharp, no screens after 6 p.m. Dinner is the chicken nuggets and carrot sticks in the fridge microwave 2 minutes. Bath with the unicorn bubbles only. Page 3. Medications. Allergies nuts. Dairy. Use the EpiPen in the red pouch on the counter. Her nightly melatonin gummy half a dose, 7 p.m. And the nebulizer if she wheezes, she has mild asthma. Page 4. House rules. No leaving the apartment. Lock the door, baby monitor on, no friends over. And call me for anything. Page 5. Fun stuff. Unicorn coloring book. Playlist of Disney songs and my cell is always on. I even have a checklist they sign before I leave. It's excessive? Maybe, but Harper's my everything. And I've had too many horror stories from mom groups. Last month, my regular sitter, Mia Larson, a sweet 19-year-old college kid from UT, moved back to Dallas for family reasons. Panic mode. I posted on the local Facebook group, interviewed 3 girls over Zoom, and settled on Kayla Preston. She's 17. Lives nearby in Round Rock with her parents. Curtis and Brenda Preston, he's a high school football coach. She's a bank teller. Kayla seemed perfect. Glowing reviews from 2 other families. CPR certified, loves kids, and she cooed over Harper's unicorn backpack during the trial run last week. I paid her 15-hour, gave her the full guide, walked her through it twice. Made her sign the checklist. Any questions? I asked. Nope, Mrs. Monroe. I've got this, she chirped. Harper hugged her goodbye, and I Ubered to the airport for my 8 p.m. flight to Chicago, ironically. Same city as Derek, for a 2-day conference. I land, check in at the Hilton, text Kayla. Everything good? Harper eat? Yes. Nuggets gone. Coloring now. Night. Okay, cool. I crash early. Set alarms to check in. 10 p.m. Bedtime done? Yep, she's out. 1 a.m. All quiet? Perfect. Morning hits. I wake up to 17 missed calls. My heart stops. It's Lila. Jessica, get home now. Harper's in the ER. I bolt. Change my flight. On the phone the whole way. Lila fills me in. At 2 a.m., Harper woke up wheezing bad. Full asthma attack. Kayla panicked. Didn't use the nebulizer, which takes 10 minutes. Idiot-proof. Didn't call 911 or me. Instead, she drove Harper herself in her beat-up Toyota to St. David's ER, 15 minutes away, no car seat. Harper strapped in with a seatbelt like luggage. Cops pulled her over for speeding. But Harper crashed out in the car. Blue lips. Unresponsive. Paramedics took over, rushed her to PICU. I burst into the hospital at 11 a.m. Find Harper hooked to machines. Oxygen mask on, tiny chest rising slow. Dr. Cole's there, shaking his head. Jessica, another 10 minutes. I lose it sobbing. Lila's holding me, whispering, Kayla's a mess in the waiting room. I storm out. Find Kayla with her mom Brenda. Face streaked with mascara. Blubbering apologies. I didn't know what to do. The nebulizer scared me. Brenda hugs her. She's just a kid herself. Jessica, I explode. You ignored everything. The guide said, call me, use the nebulizer. No driving. Brenda gets defensive. Well, hindsight's 20/20. Kayla saved her. Saved? Harper coded twice en route. Police show up. Officer Troy Bennett and Officer Lena Ortiz. They question Kayla. Yes. She left the apartment rule number 1 broken. No. Didn't call 911 first page 1. Drove without car seat Texas law violation. They cite her for child endangerment misdemeanor and reckless driving. Curtis Preston arrives. Red-faced coach yelling at the cops. This is ridiculous. My daughter's a straight A student. I demand they press charges. Officer Bennett nods, says DA will review. Harper stabilizes by afternoon. Steroids. Breathing treatments. I stay glued to her bed, singing Frozen songs softly. Lila brings clothes, coffee. Her husband, Warren Baxter, he's a firefighter, stands guard outside. Derek calls from Chicago. Useless tears. Is she okay? I'll fly out. Too late, I snap. He wires $500 for medical, but screw him. Evening hits. Brenda and Curtis corner me in the hall. Jessica, drop the charges. Kayla's traumatized. We'll pay all bills. $8,200 already. Insurance covers half. I refuse. Curtis blusters. You suffocate that girl with rules. No wonder Kayla forgot, Brenda adds. We're suing you for defamation. Calling her incompetent. Suing me? For what? Saving my kid from their daughter's stupidity? Word spreads. My boss, Greg Finley, texts support. Take the week off paid. Conference? Handled remotely. Neighborhood Facebook explodes. Lila posts anonymously. Babysitter ignores guide. Nearly kills kid. Curtis comments. Lies overprotective mom versus teen mistake. Flame war ensues. Old neighbor Mrs. Evelyn Hart 78. Nosy but kind drops off cookies. You did right, dear. But Kayla's friends from school, Brittany Hayes, Logan Pierce, Sierra Novak, spam my inbox. You're ruining her life over nothing. Harper's discharged next day. Home by noon, she's weak but smiling, hugging her unicorn stuffy. I fire Kayla via text, block the Prestons. But drama peaks. Their lawyer, Marvin Tate, a sleazy Round Rock attorney, sends a demand letter. $25,000 for emotional distress to Kayla, and defamatory statements, emotional distress. My kid almost died. I call my lawyer cousin, Rebecca Sloan in Dallas. Countersue for negligence. You've got evidence. Digging deeper, I learn Kayla's history. Mia Larson old sitter texts. Heads up. Kayla got fired from another gig for letting kids watch R-rated movies. Another parent, Tara Vaughn, messages. She gave my son soda past bedtime. Hyper mess. Curtis hid it all in reviews. I screenshot everything for Rebecca. Week later, DA charges Kayla. Endangerment felony, minor involved, could mean probation or jail. Preston's freak. Curtis shows up at my door with Pastor Joel Ramsey from their church. Forgive Jessica, Bible says turn the other cheek. Harper peeks out. Mommy, bad man? I slam the door. Call cops. Officer Ortiz returns. Restraining order filed. Harper's recovering. Back to preschool tomorrow. But sleep? Non-existent. Nightmares of her blue lips. Lila stays over nightly. Warren installs cameras. Derek visits finally. Awkward airport hug. Takes Harper to park. You're too strict, he says. And you're absent, I retort. Now, mediation scheduled. Marvin wants settlement. Rebecca says fight. Neighborhood boycott. Preston's dry cleaners. Curtis's side gig loses clients. My coworker Shannon Reed spreads word. Brittany texts apology. Kayla lied about experience. Logan and Sierra ghosted. 2 weeks in, Harper draws me a picture. Mommy and unicorn in safe house, I frame it. Was my guide too much? Hell no, it was ignored. Specifics save lives. Reddit. Did I overreact calling cops as lawyers? Or is fighting worth the stress? Harper's alive. That's what matters. P.S. For new readers. Full guide attached as image imagine link. Yes, 5 pages. Yes, photos of EpiPen. No, not joking. Edit. 300 plus comments already. Thanks. To clarify, Kayla signed it. Derek's flying back tomorrow. First time in months. Harper asked for nuggets tonight. Milestone. Wait, you wanted 20 minutes? Let me flesh this out more. Backstory on why I'm so paranoid. Flashback. When Harper was 1. Derek and I lived in a sketchy Dallas apartment. Sitter 1, a lady named Gloria Finch, left her unattended. Harper crawled into street, hit by bike, bruises, stitches. Guide born that day. Sitter 2, young punk Riley Donovan, gave her peanut butter. EpiPen rush, 10K bill. Derek laughed it off. Kids are tough. Divorce accelerated. Austin move was fresh start. Lila Baxter met day 1. Her son Miles. 6. Harper's playmate Warren built her swing set Doctor. Cole saved us during COVID wheeze. Nebulizer training on site. Trial run with Kayla last Tuesday. Harper napped perfect. Nuggets eaten. Bath bubbles foamy. Kayla sang, Let It Go. I paid $20 bonus, red flag. She glanced at phone too much. Ignored it. Desperate. Flight details. United 1543. Delayed 20 min. Hotel room 412. View of loop. Text timestamped. Kayla lied about 1 a.m. check-in. Hospital logs show attack at 1:45 a.m. ER chaos. Nurses Rachel Kim and Derek ironic name revived her. Dr. Cole arrived 3 a.m. Jessica, protocol breach could have been fatal. Kayla babbled to Officer Bennett. I thought driving was faster. Preston home visit pre-lawyer. Curtis's man cave. Football trophies. Brenda's Bible study books. Kayla upstairs sobbing to Taylor Swift. Mrs. M, I froze. Curtis. Girls tea? No. Rage lawyer call. Rebecca, 38, fierce. Evidence gold. Signed guide. Texts. Dashcam from cop stop Kayla ran red light. Marvin Tate? Known for DUIs, lost last case, church angle. Pastor Joel's sermon Sunday. Forgiveness heals, Curtis invited me. Live stream threat. Lila, block 'em. Harper therapy starts. Play specialist M's. Audrey Lane, Unicorn's help, Derek's hotel. Embassy suites, awkward dinner. Vanessa stayed home, thank God, countersuit. 50K, medical, pain, punitive, Rebecca. They'll fold. Facebook war, 200 comments, Evelyn Hart. Prayers for Harper, Tara Vaughn. Kayla's pattern, stay strong. Curtis doxes my work. Greg Finley shuts it down. HR violation, Brittany Hayes confesses. Kayla bragged about easy gigs, faked reviews. Logan Pierce. She vapes, distracted. Sierra. Sorry. Peer pressure, cameras up. Ring doorbell, backyard, Warren. Free install. Sis. Mediation tomorrow. Neutral site. Round Rock Library. Marvin's bluffing. I'll wear my mama bear shirt month later. Nah, this is fresh. October 10th incident. Harper's first word post scare. Safe. Mommy. Update. Holy crap. You guys. Over 1,200 comments on the original post? I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. But reading through them has been a roller coaster. Some of you called me a hero mom. Others said I was too harsh on a teenager. And a few even shared their own nightmare sitter stories that made me feel less alone. It's been 3 weeks since the incident October 10th. For those keeping track, and things have gone from bad to worse to, well, kinda resolved? But not without more drama, tears, and a court date that felt like a bad episode of Judge Judy. I'll try to keep this chronological so it makes sense. But fair warning, it's a doozy. First, right after I posted, the mediation happened at the Round Rock Library conference room. I showed up with Rebecca Sloan, my lawyer cousin, who's basically a pit bull in heels. Marvin Tate was there with the Prestons. Curtis looking like he wanted to tackle someone football coach vibes. Brenda dabbing her eyes with a tissue, and Kayla slouched in the corner, scrolling her phone until Marvin snatched it. Pastor Joel Ramsey tagged along as their moral support, quoting Bible verses about mercy every 5 minutes. Rebecca laid out our evidence. The signed checklist, my texts checking in, hospital records showing the delay in treatment, and the cop's dash cam footage of Kayla speeding through a red light with Harper barely buckled. Marvin blustered about youthful indiscretion and how my guide was overly burdensome, but the mediator, a no-nonsense lady named Patricia Hale, cut him off. This isn't about the guide, it's about ignoring medical instructions. By the end, they offered to drop their defamation suit if I dropped the endangerment charges and paid Kayla $5,000 for therapy. Rebecca laughed, literally, and countered with $15,000 for my medical bills, lost wages, and emotional distress. We walked out without a deal, but Patricia suggested we think it over. That night, Harper had her first therapy session with Ms. Audrey Lane. It was play-based, all unicorns and dolls. But Audrey pulled me aside after. She's processing fear of bad nights. But resilient kids bounce back. Harper drew a picture of Kayla as a mean dragon, and me as the knight. Broke my heart. But progress. Lila Baxter stayed over again. Her husband Warren installing extra locks while we binge-watched Disney to calm down. Derek Walsh, my ex, was still in town at the Embassy Suites. Playing weekend dad. He took Harper to the Austin Zoo. First time in forever. And she came back chattering about giraffes. But over dinner at my place I made her favorite nuggets. No microwave mishaps. He dropped a bomb. Vanessa's pregnant. We're engaged. Great, just what I needed. I kept it civil for Harper, but inside, seething. Congrats, I muttered. He promised more child support. Yeah, right, the next day. Things escalated when Curtis Preston showed up at my work. My boss, Greg Finley, had warned HR after the Facebook doxing, so security escorted him out before he could yell much. But he left a note. Drop this or regret it. Rebecca filed for a permanent restraining order that afternoon. Officer Lena Ortiz handled it personally, saying they'd add harassment to the list. Meanwhile, Brittany Hayes, the one who apologized, reached out again. Turns out she was Kayla's ex-bestie and had dirt. Kayla had forged her babysitting reviews using fake accounts. Brittany sent screenshots of texts where Kayla bragged about skipping the boring rules on gigs. Logan Pierce confirmed it, saying Kayla vaped during shifts and let kids raid the fridge. Sierra Novak stayed silent, but her mom, Nadine Novak, a realtor in the area, messaged me privately. My daughter's out of that group now. Sorry for the spam. I forwarded everything to Rebecca. Gold for the case. By midweek, the DA's office called. They were pursuing the felony endangerment charge against Kayla. Citing the evidence as overwhelming, Curtis went ballistic on social media. Posted a rant on the neighborhood group about vindictive single moms destroying futures. It backfired hard. Tara Vaughn, the other parent Kayla screwed over, commented with her story. She let my diabetic son eat candy. ER trip too. More piled on. A guy named Elliot Kane said Kayla ghosted his family mid-shift last summer, leaving his twins alone for an hour. Evelyn Hart, the sweet old neighbor, shared it to her bridge club group, and suddenly the Preston's dry cleaners had picketers. Moms with signs like specific instructions save lives. Shannon Reed, my co-worker, organized it anonymously. She's a beast at social media campaigns. Kayla cracked under the pressure. She showed up at my door Thursday evening, alone. No parents. Crying real tears this time. "Mrs. Monroe, I messed up so bad. I was distracted by my boyfriend texting me all night. I didn't read the guide fully because I thought I knew better." Her boyfriend? Some kid named Brody Tanner from her school, apparently pressuring her to sneak out post-bedtime. She begged me to drop charges, offered to do community service at Harper's preschool. I was torn, Olivia's words from comments echoed. Teens deserve second chances. But then I remembered Harper's blue lips. "Actions have consequences, Kayla. Talk to your lawyer." She left sobbing. Brenda called later, screaming about corrupting her baby. Restraining order served the next day. Weekend brought some light. Harper's preschool teacher, Ms. Fiona Grant, threw a welcome back party for her. Miles Baxter, Lila's son, made her a unicorn crown. Derek extended his stay, helped with baths and stories. Rare bonding. But Sunday, Marvin Tate emailed Rebecca. "Settling for $10K your way? Charges reduced to misdemeanor." We pushed back. No deal without admission of fault. Court date set for November 5th. Fast forward to this week, October 17th. Actually, as I'm writing this, big developments. First, Pastor Joel hosted a community mediation at the church. I went, against Rebecca's advice. With Lila for backup, Curtis apologized kinda. "We raised her better, but life's hard," Brenda admitted, hiding Kayla's past gigs. Kayla read a letter. "I endangered Harper and regret it every day. I'll never babysit again." Tearful, genuine. "Maybe. We agreed to a deal. They pay $12,500 covers bills plus therapy. Kayla does 100 hours at a child safety nonprofit. Charges dropped to infraction with sealed record if completed." Marvin grumbled but signed. But twist, Brody Tanner, the boyfriend, got dragged in by his parents, Victor and Helena Tanner, local business owners, turns out. He was the one egging Kayla on via texts. Brittany leaked them. Officers Troy Bennett and Lena Ortiz investigated. Brody got community service for aiding delinquency. Curtis blamed him entirely. Classic deflection. Harper's thriving now, back to full energy. No more nightmares. Audrey says she's processing well. Derek left for Chicago, but promises monthly visits. We'll see. Vanessa even sent a unicorn toy olive branch. Lila and Warren hosted a BBQ. Evelyn brought pie, and Greg gave me a raise for handling chaos like a pro. Facebook quieted. Preston's deleted posts. Am I glad I was specific? Absolutely. Saved us in court. But the stress aged me 10 years. If you're a parent, triple check sitters. If you're a sitter, read the guide. Thanks. Reddit, you kept me sane. Harper's napping with her unicorn. Life's good. Edit. DA confirmed deal today. Kayla starts service next week. Derek wired extra support. Miracle. Harper wants dragon stories now. Growth. P.S. For the skeptics, yes guide was reasonable. Attached updated version imaginary link. Now 6 pages. With video tutorial links. Final update. It's been 6 months since the babysitter nightmare. And here's how everything shook out. From court wins to unexpected twists and a whole lot of healing. Whoa. Reddit. It's me again, Jessica Monroe. Checking back in after your insane support on the original post and first update. Over 2,500 comments now. You guys are legends. Your stories, advice, and even the debates helped me navigate the chaos. It's October 17th, 2025. Weird how time flies. And 6 months have passed since that horrific night on October 10th last year, when my babysitter Kayla Preston ignored my detailed instructions and nearly cost my daughter Harper her life during an asthma attack. If you're new here, quick TLDR. I left a laminated 5-page guide for everything from meds to emergencies. Kayla blew it off, drove Harper to the ER without a car seat or calling 911, leading to charges, lawsuits, and neighborhood drama. The first update covered the messy mediation, Kayla's breakdown, and a tentative settlement. Now, with everything wrapped up, I wanted to close the loop. It's been a wild ride with court victories, family surprises, and some genuine growth. This is long, but so was the ordeal. Grab coffee. Let's start with the legal stuff, because that's what ate up the first few months. The court date on November 5th, 2024, was intense, like a real-life courtroom drama minus the dramatic music. Rebecca Sloan, my powerhouse lawyer cousin, had us prepped with binders of evidence. The signed checklist Kayla ignored. My time-stamped texts proving I checked in. Hospital logs showing the 20-minute delay that almost killed Harper. Cop dashcam of Kayla's reckless drive. And those leaked messages from Brittany Hayes about Kayla faking reviews and vaping on jobs? Marvin Tate, the Preston sleazy attorney, tried to paint me as an overbearing control freak whose guide set Kayla up for failure. Curtis Preston took the stand, all blustery coach energy, claiming teens make mistakes, and that Brody Tanner, Kayla's ex-boyfriend, was the real villain for distracting her. Brenda Preston wept through her testimony, saying they'd lost everything over this. Their dry cleaner's business tanked after the boycott led by Shannon Reed and other moms like Tara Vaughn and Nadine Novak. But the judge, Honorable Miriam Caldwell, a sharp woman in her 60s who'd seen it all, wasn't buying it. She grilled Kayla. "Young lady, did you read the guide?" Kayla mumbled yes, but admitted skimming because it was too long. Miriam leaned in. Too long? It had pictures of the nebulizer. This wasn't a novel. It was life-saving instructions. Rebecca sealed it with expert testimony from Dr. Nathan Cole, Harper's pediatrician, who explained how those lost minutes caused Harper's code blue verdict. "We won the countersuit, $18,750 awarded for medical bills, $9,200 total after insurance. My lost wages, 2 weeks off work, and Harper's therapy. The Preston's defamation claim got tossed. Miriam called it frivolous. Kayla's endangerment charge stuck as a misdemeanor. Probation, no jail, but 150 hours community service, up from 100 at a child asthma awareness nonprofit called Breathe Easy, run by a guy named Harlan Webb. She also had to attend teen responsibility classes with a counselor. Dr. Selena Vargas, the Prestons appealed, of course. Marvin filed within days, but it fizzled when new evidence surfaced. Elliot Kane, the dad whose twins Kayla left alone, testified in support during a hearing. Plus, Logan Pierce came forward with photos of Kayla's vape pen from a group chat. Brittany spilled more. Kayla had a pattern of cutting corners, like letting kids stay up late for TikTok dances. The appeal died in January 2025. They paid up via check. Curtis handed it over stone-faced at Rebecca's office. Pastor Joel Ramsey tried one last forgiveness sermon at their church, inviting me via email. I politely declined, but Lila Baxter, my neighbor bestie, went undercover and reported back. They're humbled, Jess. Curtis even admitted fault in prayer group. On the home front, Harper's recovery has been the bright spot. By December 2024, her nightmares faded thanks to Mims. Audrey Lane's play therapy. Unicorns turned from scary dragons to brave guardians in her drawings. She's back full-time at preschool with Mims, Fiona Grant, who incorporated asthma education into Circle Time. Harper's now the class expert on inhalers. Physically, Dr. Cole cleared her for normal activities. No lingering lung issues, though we do monthly check-ins. Warren Baxter beefed up our security, motion lights, a panic button app, and Miles Baxter, his son, became Harper's big brother figure, teaching her soccer in the park. Evelyn Hart, the cookie-baking neighbor, checks in weekly with treats. She even knitted Harper a unicorn scarf for Christmas. Derek Walsh, my ex, stepped up in ways I never expected. After his bombshell about Vanessa Klein's pregnancy, their baby's due next month, a boy named Landon, he relocated part-time to Austin for a job transfer at his firm. He's here every other weekend now, paying consistent child support, $1,200 a month. Court-ordered after I updated our agreement with Rebecca's help. We co-parent better. He even read my guide and babysat once, supervised by me at first. I get why you're specific now, he admitted, over coffee at my place. Vanessa visited in February. Awkward at first, but she bonded with Harper over frozen marathons. They're getting married in June. Harper's the flower girl, unicorn dress and all. As for Kayla, surprisingly, she's turned a corner. Her service at Breathe Easy wrapped in April 2025. Harlan Webb raved about her, saying she organized a kids' workshop on emergency prep. She sent me a handwritten letter in March. "Mrs. Monroe, I learned more from this than school. I'm sorry for the pain I caused Harper. No more babysitting. I'm focusing on nursing now. Brody Tanner, his parents Victor and Helena shipped him to military school after his delinquency rap. Last I heard from Brittany, he's reformed but boring. The friend group dissolved. Sierra Novak's in therapy for toxic dynamics. Per Nadine, Logan, ghosted everyone, moved to Houston for college. Neighborhood vibes normalized by spring. The Facebook group drama died. Curtis sold the dry cleaners to a chain and coaches full-time now. Brenda volunteers at the church food bank. Pastor Joel says it's healing. I ran into them at HEB in May. Awkward nods, but Brenda whispered, "Harper looks great. No hard feelings on my end. I've moved on." Greg Finley at work promoted me to senior coordinator with a hybrid setup. So fewer trips. Shannon organized a mom support group. We share sitter horror stories and vetted recommendations. Mia Larson, my old reliable, moved back and sits for us occasionally. But not everything's perfect. I still triple-check everything. Guides now 7 pages with QR codes to videos. Harper had a minor wheeze in July during a heat wave. Nebulizer worked like a charm. No ER. Therapy continues quarterly. Audrey says Harper's empowered. Me? I started yoga with Lila. Breathe in calm. Out stress. Dated a nice guy. Preston Hayes, no relation to Brittany. Small world. A software engineer who laughs at my lists but follows them. Looking back, was the fight worth it? Absolutely. It taught Harper resilience, me boundaries, and Kayla accountability. Specifics aren't control, they're care. If you're reading this as a parent, vet sitters ruthlessly. Background checks, trials, references as a sitter. Respect the rules, lives depend on it. Reddit. You were my lifeline. DM saved my sanity. Harper's 5 now, starting kindergarten soon. Unicorn backpack ready, life's good, drama's done, edit, wow. 500 new comments overnight. Thanks. Derek's wedding invite came. Vanessa wants me there for family. Harper drew a family pic including her new brother. Heartmelt. Guide V3 Claro attached imaginary link. Feel free to borrow. Stories number 25. My co-worker tried to sabotage my promotion by getting me written up. And now she wants to shadow me. Hell no, hey Reddit. Longtime lurker from the R anti-work and R malicious compliance subs. But this is my first post because I'm at my absolute wit's end with office politics and need to know if I'm the asshole or just protecting my sanity. I'm Connor Riley, a 38-year-old senior project manager at Apex Dynamics, a mid-sized logistics firm in downtown Denver, Colorado. I've been here 12 years, climbed from warehouse grunt to running multi-million-dollar supply chain ops for big clients like REI and Coors. My team's tight. 8 solid people who respect me because I lead by example. On time, under budget, zero drama, pays $128K base plus bonuses, and I've got my eye on VP of Operations next year. Life's good, married to my high school sweetheart. Megan Riley, we've got a 6-year-old son, Liam, and a golden retriever named Scout. House in the suburbs with a killer view of the Rockies. But then Chloe Vargas waltzed in 3 months ago and turned my world upside down. Chloe's 26, fresh MBA from CU Boulder. All shiny LinkedIn buzzwords and Instagram perfect bob haircut. Hired as a junior analyst in my department by our HR director. Valerie Thornton, a no-nonsense 55-year-old mom of 4 who's been at Apex since the 90s. Valerie pulled me aside day 1. Connor, mentor her. She's green but ambitious. Fine. Whatever. I set her up with basic tasks. Data entry for shipment logs. Shadowing our analyst Nate Harlow, he's 32. Ex-Army, numbers wizard, Chloe's first week. She misspells logistics in emails, shows up 15 minutes late daily, and asks Nate to explain Excel pivot tables like he's her personal tutor. Nate's patient, texts me. She's trying, boss. I nod. Assign her a simple report on Q2 freight costs. Week 2, red flags. Chloe corners me in the break room. Connor, I deserve more responsibility. I'm overqualified for grunt work. Overqualified? Girl's got 0 experience. I smile, say, earn it, nail the report. And we'll talk. She pouts but submits it Friday. It's a mess. Wrong formulas, outdated data from January, not Q2. And she plagiarized half from a Wikipedia page on trucking. I fix it over weekend 2 hours. Email her the corrections. Great start, Chloe. Here's how to improve, her reply. Thanks. But I think you micromanage. Eye roll. Fast forward to July board meeting. Huge deal. Pitching 5 Mellows expansion to CEO Harlan Decker 60s. Golf buddy of the owner and CFO Lydia Chen Sharp as tax 48, immigrated from Taiwan. My report's the star, charts crisp, projections spot on. Saved us $200K in reroutes, I present, nail Q&A. Harlan claps me on back. VP track Connor, post-meeting. Drinks at the Denver Chop House with team. Chloe's there, tipsy on Merlot. Whining to Valerie, Connor hogs all the glory. I contributed to that report, Valerie raises brow. Show me your parts, Chloe stammers. Changes subject, Monday, bomb drops. I'm in my office when Valerie storms in, face like thunder. Connor, Chloe filed a formal complaint. Says you took credit for her work, altered her report without permission, and created a hostile environment by criticizing her. What? I pull up emails, her original garbage attached. Valerie reads, sighs. She's got screenshots. Edited ones. Chloe photoshopped my correction email to say, perfect job. Chloe, no changes needed. Then claimed I verbally berated her in a private meeting. Lies, our IT guy, Owen Patel, 29. Tech whiz who owes me for covering his honeymoon. Traces it. Metadata shows edits from her home IP last night. Valerie calls Chloe in. She cries crocodile tears. Connor's threatened my job. I'm just a woman in a male-dominated field. Valerie's not buying. Suspends Chloe pending investigation. Sends to HR rep Sandra Mills, 42. Former cop, smells BS a mile away. I give my side, full email chain. Owen testifies on tampering. By Wednesday, Chloe's written up. Falsifying documents. Final warning. She apologizes in group email. Misunderstanding, sorry team. Bull. But Harlan pulls me aside. Good catch. But mentor her still. Diversity goals. Grit teeth. Nod. August hits. My promotion push. I lead RFP for new Amazon contract. $12 million potential. Team crushes it. Nate on analytics. Logistics lead Brooke Delaney, 35. Single mom. Badass on roots. Admin Carla Ruiz, 24. Bilingual Spanish-English on docs Chloe. Assigned coffee runs and filing. Her punishment, she sulks. Posts cryptic LinkedIn. Learning from the best, or worst. Corporate jungle. I ignore. RFP deadline looms. September 15th, Friday before, 5 p.m. Office emptying. I'm finalizing slides when Chloe knocks. Connor, can I help? Prove myself? Nope, too risky after sabotage. File the vendor packets, Chloe. She huffs off. 7 p.m. alone, I hit save. Crash. Power outage. Generator kicks in, but my laptop blue screens panic reboot. Presentation gone, autosave? Corrupted. 3 weeks work. Poof, Saturday. I rebuild from backups at home. 48 hours straight. Megan brings coffee. Liam draws daddy hero pics. Sunday night, done. Monday, 8 a.m. Email Harlan, Lydia. Slides ready. Chloe replies. All. I have the original version Connor deleted. Attached my file. Timestamped 6:45 p.m. Friday. How? IT logs show her accessing my shared drive at 6:50 p.m. Post outage. She emailed it to herself. Then found it. Sabotage number 2. I marched to Valerie. Chloe's deleting my work, Owen confirms. She used admin access I granted for filing to purge autosaves. Then restored a copy. Valerie hauls Chloe in. Tears again. I was backing it up. Connor's paranoid. Sandra Mills reviews logs. Busted. Chloe terminated on spot. Exit interview. Unfit for team. Her LinkedIn updates. Seeking opportunities where talent is valued. She wrongful termination. HR emails company-wide. Chloe Vargas no longer with Apex. Connor's promo proceeding. Harlan calls. VP offer incoming. $165K. Team cheers at happy hour. Nate buys rounds. Brooke hugs me. Karma baby. Megan throws surprise dinner. Liam toasts with juice. October 1st, I'm VP Riley first week. Smooth. But Friday, email from Chloe. Connor, per Harlan's request, I need to shadow you for my reference letter. One day next week. Harlan, I CC him. WTF? He replies, Valerie mentioned mentoring. Help her out? No way. After 2 write-up attempts? Oh, I forward sabotage proof, Harlan. Never mind. Denied. Chloe blows up my personal cell got from company directory. You're blackballing me. I'll sue for discrimination. Voicemails. 10 sobbing threats. I block. Report to Sandra. She files no contact order. Chloe posts Glassdoor. Toxic VP sabotages women. 1 star. Fake reviews from burners. Owen traces to her coffee shop IP. Now, neighborhood buzz. Chloe lives 3 blocks away in my suburb. Her roommate, Tessa Lang barista, 25. Messages Megan via Nextdoor. Chloe's depressed. Please let her shadow. Megan. Hell no. My neighbor. Retired cop Gus Whitaker, 68. Gruff but gold. Patrols extra. Got your back, Riley. Team's loyal. Nate runs interference. Brooke shreds Chloe's files. Lydia boosts my budget. Valerie bakes cookies. You earned it. But stress? Sleepless nights, Liam asks. Daddy? Bad lady gone? Yes, buddy? Was refusing to let her shadow petty? Or smart self-defense? She tried ruining me twice. Trust gone, Reddit. Sound off. Mentor saboteur or protect my peace. PS, for proof. Imaginary screenshots of emails, logs. Yes, all real. No, not exaggerating. Edit. 400 comments in 2 hours. NTA overwhelming. To clarify, Harlan backpedaled fast. Chloe's suing. Sandra says bluff. Evidence ironclad. Liam wants Rocky's game. Promo perk. Wait, 20 minutes? Diving deeper. Full backstory for immersion. Rewind to my start at Apex 2012. Fresh from community college, Denver native, dad Pat Riley, 65. Retired mechanic said, "Work hard, son." First boss. Ron Baxter, now retired Florida, taught me ropes, climbed fast, saved a one-mailer shipment in 15 blizzard Megan. Met at Coors Field, 2005, wedding no 9, Liam 18. Scout adopted 20 after Megan's allergy shots. Chloe's hire, Valerie's push for young blood. Interview, she name-dropped Harvard prof's fake. Googled later, day one lunch, flirts with Nate. Ignores Carla, report fiasco, her sources. BuzzFeed article, I fixed pie charts. Added ROI calcs, one contract, board meet details. Hilton Ballroom, 50 execs, my slide 12. 15% efficiency gain. Harlan. Brilliant. Chop House tab. $300 team split. Complaint day, Valerie's office, fern plant wilting. Chloe's screenshots. Comic Sans font. Obvious. Owen's trace, her VPN from nail salon. RFP grind, 9 p.m. nights, Megan packs lunches. Brooke's daughter Ella 4 drew logos. Carla translated Spanish contracts. Nailed Latino vendors. Outage, storm hit, thunder rattled windows, blue screen. Critical error, home rebuild basement scout snoring. Megan massages shoulders 2 a.m. Chloe's access. Granted Tuesday for filing. Logs. 6:52 p.m. delete command, her email. Found it on server. Termination, Chloe packs box, mascara rivers. You'll regret. Sandra escorts out. VP week, new office window view. Harlan golfs me Friday. Sheep in wolves clothing. Lydia. Budget plus 20%. Chloe calls. Voicemail 7, my dad's a lawyer. Dad? Barry Vargas, realtor, not attorney. Tessa's plea. Chloe cries nightly. Megan. Boundaries. Gus, shotgun on porch, just in case. Glassdoor war. 5 fake reviews. Owen scripts bot blocker now. Promo party tomorrow. Nate DJing. Liam practices VP daddy speech. Update 3 months later. My saboteur coworker went full meltdown mode. From lawsuit threats to stalking my kid's soccer game. But justice finally hit and I got the last laugh. Holy shit, Reddit, you absolute MVPs. Over 1,800 comments on the original post. And your takes were gold, 95% NTA. With gems like document everything, block her ass, and malicious compliance, shadow her, in HR complaints. The tough love, don't mentor snakes, and hilarious memes Chloe as cartoon villain kept me sane through the fresh hell that unfolded. It's January 17th, 2025 now, 3 months since I became VP Riley and shut down Chloe Vargas's shadowing request. And wow, has the drama escalated? From fake lawsuits and neighborhood stalkers, to a surprise promotion bonus and Chloe's epic crash and burn? This update's a beast. Chronological order. Coffee in hand. It's long, but you asked for the tea. Right after my original post October 1st, Chloe's Glassdoor rampage hit fever pitch. 5 fake 1-star reviews from burner accounts. VP Riley steals women's ideas. Toxic patriarchy. Owen Patel, our IT wizard. Traced them to IPs at her fave coffee shop. Been There Brood, run by a guy named Miles Donovan. 40s, who later banned her for bad vibes. Sandra Mills, HR beast, subpoenaed the site. Glassdoor yanked them by October 3rd. Citing fraud, Chloe emails me personally dodged my block somehow. This isn't over. My dad's filing suit for wrongful termination and gender discrimination. $100K minimum, Barry Vargas. Turns out he's a used car salesman in Littleton. Not a lawyer. Googled him selling rusty F-150s. I forwarded to Sandra, she laughed. Bluff. Countersue for defamation. Easy win. Harlan Decker. Our CEO called me into his oak-paneled office October 4th. Connor. Valerie says Chloe's begging for a reference. I told her no, but company image? I showed him the sabotage logs. Email deletion proof. Photoshopped complaint. Harlan's face. Priceless. Fire her reference rights permanently, and take this. 20K signing bonus for VP. Boom. Total comp now 185K. Team happy hour at the Denver Chop House, same spot as board win. Nate Harlow DJs with 80s hits. Brooke Delaney's daughter Ella, now 412 dances on tables. Carla Ruiz brings empanadas, Lydia Chen toasts. To snake-proof leaders, Megan and Liam FaceTime from home. Liam yells, "Daddy's the boss." Weekend calm shattered Monday. Tessa Lang, Chloe's roommate, slides into Megan's next-door DMs. Chloe's suicidal over job loss. Please let her shadow. Just one day. Megan screenshots, forwards to me. I call Gus Whitaker, our retired cop neighbor. Eyes open. Gus patrols my block in his F-250. Shotgun cleaning on the porch, but creepier. Chloe shows up at Liam's soccer practice that Saturday. Cherry Creek Fields. 10 a.m. U6 League. She's in sunglasses and hoodie. 20 feet away, filming on her phone, Coach Travis Boone, 35. Ex-pro. Liam's idol spots her. Who are you? Parents only, she lies. Auntie, Travis radios security. I arrive mid-game, Liam scores header. Goal. See her bolt. Megan's shaking. She followed us from Starbucks. I call Officer Dana Hayes, Gus's daughter. 32, on patrol nearby. Restraining order extended to family. Chloe's trespassed from all fields, October 15th. Lawsuit filed. Barry Vargas serves papers at my office. Shaky hands. Cheap suit, claims, wrongful termination $50K. Discrimination $30K, emotional distress $20K. Rebecca Sloan, no wait, different Rebecca. Ours is Rebecca Klein, 45. Cutthroat litigator from my uncle's firm Dallas Roots. But Denver office, she tears it apart in 48 hours. No evidence, perjured timestamps. Barry not even bar admitted he's a notary at best. We countersue, $75K for defamation. Cyber harassment plus legal fees. Depositions start October 25th. Valerie Thornton testifies. Chloe tampered docs twice. Owen, IP traces to her VPN. Nate. She flirted for answers, then stole credit. Brooke. I saw her delete files, smirking. Carla. She mocked my accent in reports. Jury? Nah, settled November 1st. Chloe pays us $25K, Barry haggles down from $50K. Drops all claims, NDA signed. Rebecca gets 30% cut. $7.15K to charity, Megan's pick. Denver Kids Soccer, Chloe spirals post-settlement. LinkedIn, betrayed by Apex. Starting consulting firm, Boir's Girl Boss, Reality. Tessa texts Megan pre-block. She's couch surfing. Fired from barista gig for yelling at customers. Barry cuts her off. Tough love, kiddo. November 10th, Chihuahua. She cold calls Harlan from a burner. Reference or I leak secrets. Harlan forwards to cops. Extortion charge. Officer Dana arrests her at Being There. Miles Donovan IDs her as the crazy one. Bail. 5K, posted by roommate Tessa, regrets instantly. Meanwhile, my VP life? Thriving. Amazon RFP signed November 15th. 12-minute locked. My bonus $50K. Team expands. New analyst. Jordan Pierce, 28. Non-binary. Data genius from MIT. I mentor properly. No snakes. December board. Harlan announces my Employee of the Year. Plaque. 10K, Rocky Sweet tickets, family Christmas, Megan's folks. Pat and Diane Riley dad's grilling. Mom's pies. Liam unwraps goalie gloves. Scout gets bones. New Year's Eve, Brooke hosts. Ella and Liam ring in 2025 with sparkler wands. January twist. Chloe pleads guilty to misdemeanor extortion. Probation. 50 hours community service at Denver Women's Shelter. Ironic, her consulting. Door-to-door MLM scam, selling essential oils to ex-coworkers. Lydia Chen spots her at Coors Field tailgate. We're there for game. Scram or trespass. Chloe flees. Tessa moves out, tells next door. Chloe's toxic. Block her. Gus hosts Block BBQ January 10th. To Riley. The Neighborhood Shield. Coach Travis invites Liam to clinic. Scholarship potential. But the cherry? February 1st. Wait writing early. Chloe applies to my old rival firm, Summit Logistics. Valerie, now my golf buddy, tips me. Reference check? I send factual, not eligible for rehire, see attached incidents. Summit ghosts her. Her Insta rant. Blackballed forever. Owen bots it down. Now. Smooth sailing. Liam's MVP this season. Jersey number 7 for me. Megan's pregnant surprise. Due July. House edition. Man cave for Rocky's games. Harlan hints. CFO track. Team's family. Nate's wedding. May I'm best man. Stress. Yoga with Brooke. Chloe. Distant memory. Last sighting. Waitressing at Waffle House per Tessa. Was refusing to shadow write. Hell yes. Saved my career. Taught her lesson. Reddit. Your advice nailed it. Document. Distance. Dominate. DMs open for war stories. Liam says. Hi Reddit. Daddy's the best. Life's epic edit. 600 plus comments already. Thanks. Settlement check cashed. College fund for baby number 2. Chloe's service starts tomorrow. Harlan sends popcorn emoji. Rocky's tickets. Team outing planned. Final update. It's been a full year since my coworker tried to tank my career. And here's the epic wrap-up. From her total downfall to my dream life upgrade. Plus some wild twists I never saw coming. Reddit. You rock stars. It's Connor Riley here, circling back one last time because holy hell. Has it been a year since that original post on October 1st, 2024? About Chloe Vargas's sabotage saga. Over 3,000 comments across the posts. Your support was my secret weapon. The NTA chorus, legal tips sue back, and laugh out loud roasts Chloe's the villain in her own LinkedIn movie. Got me through the darkest bits. If you're new or need a refresher, Chloe, the entitled junior analyst. Faked complaints to get me written up, deleted my files to steal credit, got fired, then begged to shadow me for a reference. I said hell no, sparking lawsuits, stalking, and extortion drama. The first update covered her meltdown up to January 2025. Arrests, settlements, my bonuses. Now, on October 17th, 2025, weird full circle date. With everything dust settled, I'm closing the book. This is lengthy. Recap, resolutions, life wins, and reflections. But you deserve the full tea. Spoiler, karma's real, and life's sweeter on the other side. Let's rewind to where the last update left off, January 2025. Chloe on probation for misdemeanor extortion, after threatening Harlan Decker for a reference. Her MLM consulting gig hawking lavender oils door-to-door flopped hard. Neighbors like Gus Whitaker slammed doors, calling it pyramid BS. Tessa Lang, her ex-roomie, ghosted after Chloe stiffed her on rent. Tessa's now dating a barista at Bean. Their brood miles, Donovan hooked them up. Small world. Barry Vargas, Chloe's dad, washed his hands. She's 27. Figure it out. Chloe crashed on his couch in Littleton. But he kicked her out by February after she borrowed his credit card for Uber Eats binges. Court-wise, our defamation countersuit wrapped in March 2025. Rebecca Klein, my shark lawyer, demolished their appeal in a Denver courtroom. Judge Elias Ford Stern's 62-year-old vet called Chloe's evidence fabricated fairy tales and upheld the $25K payout to me, plus $10K in fees. Chloe paid in installments Barry co-signed, grumbling on a now-deleted TikTok. Big Corp crushes dreamers. Injustice. Rebecca donated her cut to a women's mentorship nonprofit. Ironic twist. The extortion plea. Chloe finished 50 hours at Denver Women's Shelter by April, sweeping floors and sorting donations. Shelter director Ms. Fiona Graves, Warm 50s social worker, reported. She started entitled, left humbled. Chloe's probation ended June 2025. No violations, but Officer Dana Hayes kept tabs. One more slip, and it's jail. Chloe's job hunt? Train wreck after Summit Logistics ghosted her thanks to my factual reference. She applied everywhere. FedEx analyst rejected for integrity concerns. Starbucks shift lead fired week 1 for arguing with customers. Even a gig at REI stocking shelves our client. Harlan tipped them off anonymously. By May, she landed waitressing at a greasy spoon called Rocky Diner in Aurora, owned by a gruff guy named Hank Morrow, ex-trucker. 58. Hank later told Gus they fished together. Girls got attitude, burned burgers, short-change tips. Chloe quit in July after a viral Yelp review. Server Chloe snapped at me for asking for ketchup. 1 star. LinkedIn scrubbed clean. She pivoted to freelance content creator. Cringy YouTube vlogs about overcoming corporate betrayal. Subs, 47, mostly bots. Brody Tanner. Wait, wrong story. No ex here. But she dated a sketchy guy named Vance Keller, 28. Unemployed gamer briefly. He dumped her for drama overload. Neighborhood fallout fizzled by spring. Gus Whitaker hosted more BBQs, dubbing them Riley Resilience Parties. Steaks, beers. Liam manning the grill at 7 years old now. Tessa joined once, spilling, Chloe's isolated. Friends bailed after the stalking. That soccer field incident? Liam's league banned her permanently. Coach Travis Boone upgraded security cams. No more sightings. Chloe moved to a dingy apartment in Englewood, far from our Cherry Creek suburb. Megan spotted her once at Costco in August, loading up on bulk ramen, awkward eye contact. No words, Gus. She's harmless now. Broken spirit. On my end, Apex Dynamics is my kingdom. VP role exploded. Amazon contract ballooned to $20 million by Q2 2025. Thanks to Nate Harlow's AI tweaks, he's promoted to senior analyst. 110K. Brooke Delaney leads a new green logistics team. Cut emissions 25%. Earned us an industry award in June at the Denver Convention Center. Carla Ruiz, bilingual superstar, negotiating Spanish deals like a boss. Owen Patel built a sabotage-proof cloud system. No more file deletes. Jordan Pierce, our non-binary data whiz, revolutionized reporting with machine learning. They're my right hand now. Harlan Decker retired in July, golfing in Scottsdale. but named me interim COO before dipping. Lydia Chen's my partner in crime. Connor, you're the glue. Salary? 210K base, 80K bonus. Bought a cabin in Breckenridge for family weekends. Team retreat in Aspen September. Skiing, strategy sessions. Nate's epic karaoke, Don't Stop Believin'. Family glow up. Megan gave birth to our daughter. Riley named after my gramps, but girly twist. In July 2025, healthy 7-elbs. Curly hair like mom. Liam's her big bro protector. No bad ladies near baby. Soccer MVP again. Scholarship to a youth academy starting next year. Scout the Golden's got a new sibling too. A lab puppy named Rocky, Liam's pick. Megan's back part-time as a graphic designer from home. We remodeled the basement into her studio. Pat and Diane Riley parents moved closer. Golden, Co. for grandkid duty. Ron Baxter, my old mentor. Visited from Florida in May. Proud kid, you built an empire, holidays. Epic, Thanksgiving at the cabin. Christmas with 20 family members. Liam's goalie gloves under the tree. Twists I didn't expect. In April, Chloe emailed an apology. Real one. No tears. Connor, I was jealous and immature. Therapy helped. Sorry for the pain. Probation mandated counseling with doctor. Selena Vargas per Fiona, I replied neutral. Water under the bridge, good luck. She unfollowed everyone. Went private on socials. Last post, fresh start in therapy. Valerie Thornton retired in August, but we lunch monthly. She baked my fave apple pie for Riley's birth. Sandra Mills exposed a similar saboteur at a rival firm. Networking win, and the wildest Harlan's retirement gift? Company stock options, vested at 150K already, baby fund secured. Reflections? Refusing to shadow Chloe wasn't petty, it was survival. She nearly derailed my life twice. Boundaries saved me. Office politics suck, but loyalty team, family triumphs. To aspiring pros, document everything. Emails, logs, allies to saboteurs, karma bites, Reddit. You taught me that. Your stories mirrored mine. Your advice sharpened my game. If you're in the trenches, stand firm, seek support, thrive. DMs open for vent sessions, Liam says. Reddit rules. Riley Koo's agreement. Megan and I toast tonight. Cabin views. No drama. Life's peak. Signing off edit. 800 plus comments. Overwhelmed. Harlan sending Chloe free champagne. Riley's first word. Data. Guide to surviving snakes attached imaginary PDF. My new HR policy.